Dead mouse.
Hello and welcome back to the Dudecast.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
It is another week. We are back here at this table doing this thing.
We are.
Against all better judgment yet again.
Yeah.
We are.
Yes.
Yes.
Week after week, we continue to go down here, destroy our livers and lungs, and sometimes our throats when we decide to raise our voices.
Yeah, right.
When we decide.
When we willingly choose to raise our voices for the sake of comedy and no other reason.
And for no other reason. So yeah, this is our 44th episode. How about that?
Sure is.
How about that shit?
Yeah.
Do we have anything noteworthy to open with here?
Not that I can think of. I got my muffler fixed finally. That was something.
Yeah.
Good.
What did it end up costing you anyway? I don't think you said.
$150.
$150?
Yeah, because it wasn't the muffler itself.
Oh, okay.
The guy said if it was the muffler itself, it would have been closer to like $500 or $600.
Yeah, right.
And then, but no, it was just like, I think the word he used was flange. I don't know anything about cars.
I don't either.
But it was like a little, like it was a point where two pipes were like bolted together.
Yeah.
And then like one part of it was like off. Like it was like, it like broken off. Like the bolted part was intact, but then like the pipe itself had like split.
snap.
Flange is one of those words that could not mean anything, and I would have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Get
sure.
your head off of that blasted samoflam.
The fuck is a shabble?
Where'd you go, incidentally, to get it done?
Midas.
Oh, yeah.
Midas. They were very good.
Yeah, they are usually very good.
I looked at the reviews. Google reviews tend to be like I like them because they tend to have like as good of a concentration of positive reviews as they do of negative ones, which is nice because people tend to use reviews as like their own negative, venting soapbox. Yeah. But one of the guys there was mentioned by name, and he was who I got when I called, and he was super nice, and it was quick. It took I don't know. I got there at like 2:45, and I was out of there by 4:15.
yeah,
so
there you go.
Not bad.
not too bad.
Yeah.
I just played. I've been getting into the bad habit of getting games on my Kindle Fire. I got that game, The Room, that it's one of those.
What a story.
It's like a
I love that. I had played all three of them.
Oh, okay. I've got the other two. I haven't tried them yet. I've beaten the first room. I just wanted to run through it again.
It's the escape game, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
It's puzzle boxes.
It's like a puzzle box that you can like rotate around it and look at it from all angles and stuff. It's trippy. It's a little creepy. It's kind of
your sipping is picking up on the microphone really well.
It's because this coffee's hot.
It's almost like a bit of a more compact mist almost. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I did while I was waiting for my car to get fixed.
Anyway,
I love The Room. I'm in the middle of the third one. I haven't finished that one, but it's a really cool game.
It's pretty creative.
The design is really thoughtful. I feel like as the series goes on, they try to add like a story, and they really don't have to.
Nah.
Like they could just drop the whole story thing. I'm fine with that.
It's fluff. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
I'm thinking about getting a cherry tree.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about that, yeah.
I don't know if that's worth talking about on the podcast, but I want a cherry tree.
you gotta keep rogue George Washingtons out of your yard.
Right. I have to have a no Washington zone.
You have to have a Washington crow.
Here's some,
Or a scare Washington.
a scare Washington.
Yeah, a scare George.
Yeah, what is the scarecrow version of George Washington?
Oh, it's well, no, you're scaring away George Washington, so it would be
That's
like a big King George III made out of straw.
Just like a really mean looking red coat.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
It'd be yeah.
A scare George.
A scare George. What about you could get a scared George Washington Carver? It's just George Washington cover holding a jar of Jif. And it'll scare off white people.
Jif?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's, I've heard the choosy moms choose it, so probably also.
George Washington Carver, famously one of the only black people that white people have heard of historically.
Right.
Right next to Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks.
Choosy moms.
Washington Carver.
Right.
Choosy moms choose GIF,
Right.
but for the rest of us, we say GIF.
I do have another thing I thought I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit.
Anyway.
It's not graphics interchange format.
True. So you guys might remember a while ago I had an idea for an app.
Yeah.
And the idea for the app was a very stupid idea that I was sure would make money. And it was called farts of like presidential farts or farts throughout history.
Right.
I still think this would make money. It was the idea of you hit a button, you read about a president, you hit a button to hear what his farts sounded like.
It's brilliant.
Right?
It's brilliant.
One of the guys I work with is like convinced he can make it really easily, and I'm thinking about actually doing it.
You should do it because you can definitely make money doing that.
Yeah, it's $20 to submit an app to the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
That's it.
Come on. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
So I was thinking, like, what if we actually we sample some farts, we record them in this room,
Okay.
just fart right into a microphone, and then Ben, you can read some narration, and we make it like a collaborative 3 dudes.
That's
app.
brilliant.
There we go.
That's a great idea.
I actually kind of think it makes a lot of sense. It's really in line with what this show is all about. Which is farts.
Which is farts.
Just farts.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's really
that's a
stupid.
really good idea. If you want to get drunk and eat a whole bunch of fiber one afternoon, I am absolutely okay with coming down here and farting into these expensive microphones.
It just seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
It's obviously really stupid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
But if you sell that for $1, I wonder if you could make money.
oh, for sure.
If you make the stories really good, the little president bio,
Yeah.
you know, you get everything right.
What about Hail to the Queef?
I mean, that's the companion app.
Yeah.
That comes later. You got to build the anticipation.
And then you release one for the first ladies.
First ladies, yeah.
Called Hail to the Queef.
It's real stupid, but it seems like a good idea. So who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, I have heard tell that we're
No, I have something I want to talk about.
Oh,
You just
shit.
fucking blew right past me.
I didn't think you had anything you would talk about.
Stupid ass.
I didn't know you were trying to do that.
Such an ass.
All right, you ass. What is
ass. Hey, I've been playing Pokemon Emerald.
it? Okay.
I got a totally legal version of Pokemon Emerald on my phone. Like I got a cartridge adapter for my phone.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, I know.
That exists totally.
Yeah, that totally happened.
Yeah.
I've been playing Pokemon Emerald. I never played past Gen 2 Pokemon, so
No kidding.
I'm playing Gen 3 Pokemon. It's pretty cool. I can't say anything. I literally do this every episode at some interval. So it's like this is like pot meat kettle.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I've been playing Gen 3 Pokemon and like hey guys, I don't know if you know this or not. Pokemon it's pretty good.
Pokemon's sweet.
It's really good, man.
I love Pokemon.
Gen 3 I've never played it, so I don't know anything about anything that I'm catching,
Right.
but I want to catch them all. And I intend to.
You, in fact, gotta.
The Hugh Hefner story.
You gotta catch them all.
You gotta catch them all.
That's
I'm
your
excited,
purpose.
man.
Can you pass me the
Supplies. Little torchy guy and the cutter guy.
Schwam.
And do.
Do.
And half.
2.5.
14 teen.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
27 half.
I got a bunch of Pokemon. I don't know how good they're gonna be,
Yeah.
but my Abra is gonna be jacked as fuck.
Well, you know how you make your Pokemon. You know how you make your Pokemon good
Yeah.
is by loving and caring for them and trusting in the power of friendship and all that gay shit.
I think that's Tamagotchi.
Dude, it's good, man. Pokemon's fucking real good, man.
Pokemon is sweet.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I was telling you last night, though, the last time I played, I was playing Silver, and I ended up in the casino, and then
just
I just,
played in the casino.
every time I pick it up, I just play more slots. Like my guy
That's
has
like
been there.
a whole new level of gambling addiction.
I'll hit the speed up, and I'll just keep tapping A over and over again, because the RNG of the game definitely favors you making coin.
Right. Yeah.
So I just play constantly when I'm playing it, which
Man,
is really stupid.
The playthrough we did of Pokemon Red, I think was like the crowning.
Whoa.
You all right?
Woo, you all right there?
Yep.
You just torch your fingy?
Just torch my fingy.
Your fingy meat.
Your fingy meat. Not your fingy meat.
But yeah, man, it's good. It's good shit. I'm real excited. I'm playing it. I'm happy to be back there getting into it.
Yeah.
Come on, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Pokemon's really good. So.
I don't know if you know, but it's pretty good.
That's what the kids say.
Yeah. I have heard tell
Anyway.
that we are fucked.
I'm fucked because this wrapping is coming apart.
Oh no.
Pretty goddamn easy.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Rock
It's looking
around.
good though.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're fucked.
Legend has it.
You know why we're fucked?
Why are we fucked?
There's Caps fans here in Youngstown,
That's right.
which is
right. You told us about that.
unusual to me. Yeah, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings for the game 2 of the Penn series. We lost that game 4-1.
Yeah.
And there were Caps fans at the booth right next to us in Youngstown.
That's really weird.
I mean,
Like
like I get original 6. Like I get like Rangers fans. I'm a Bruins fan. I get Wings. I get Canadians. I get Leafs. I get like original 6 hockey.
yeah.
I don't get
I don't really
Capitals.
either. Why here?
Why
really, is
the
question.
Capitals of all teams?
I think
It's-
your response to that was my favorite, Ben, which is Chris was saying, why in the world would that happen? Or what kind of person would do that to themselves? And you said something about it, I don't know, mercury-based.
Like in utero mercury poisoning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. They were loving, watching, the ultimately futile attempt to stay in the
Yeah.
playoffs beyond round 1. But no, I mean, I guess good for them. They got to win, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the Penguins just didn't bring it on Sunday.
No, they'll be back.
Yeah.
It's not.
They play tonight, 7:30.
Right.
7:30.
I'm hoping we can catch a significant amount of this.
We will.
but
We'll
I
be
don't know
able
how
to.
much we will.
I'll tell you what. I'll flip the game on the thing if you got the.
What, the little projector?
Yeah, I could put it up here.
Yeah, you know what? I can
Watch
I can bring the projector down here maybe or something like
Oh,
that.
that'd be neat.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put it on and we'll catch the first period or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they'll be back. Depends. Will be back. I have the utmost confidence that you're going to get through Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know who wins the Eastern Final. I don't know if we beat Tampa Bay. It was comforting last night in our game. Boston did not look good, but they were still in the game up until like basically the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's comforting heading back home for the next 2 games.
No, honestly, last night's game, it's not like you guys got completely destroyed,
No, they didn't.
And now you get to have a couple of games at home. I mean, I feel pretty good about where you guys are going.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
It'll work out, I think.
Whoever wins our series, I don't know who wins the Eastern Final. I have the utmost confidence that Pittsburgh is going to, beat Washington because that just always happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's going to take the East, and I also don't know if anybody's got enough firepower to beat anybody in the West. Anybody?
Yep. No, that's the thing. Whoever wins in the East will invariably get destroyed by, let's just be honest, the Vegas Golden
Yeah,
Knights.
I think it's going to be the Knights.
But are they ready for? Because I feel like whoever wins in the East and comes to the final is going to bring something really, really physical.
oh yeah,
Is Vegas going to be ready for that?
I don't know.
if it is indeed Vegas.
Vegas is a defensive team. I think it's going to be Vegas. I like just watching them play, especially that game last night where, and this is going to go along with my why we're fucked, but like a game that by all accounts Las Vegas should have lost, and did not. They just look very tough.
But then, look at the last year. Last year, everyone was just dead certain the Preds were going to destroy. Even I was pretty sure. In my heart of hearts.
We don't know. That's why, as my dad always said, that's why they play the game.
Right, exactly.
We're gonna find out. So.
Yeah, for sure. But we're fucked because there's Caps fans in Youngstown for some reason. I want them out of here.
Get him out of here.
Get them out of here.
Get out of here, yous. Get out of here.
I'm gonna piggyback off of your why we're fucked, and I'm gonna continue. We're fucked because the referees in the NHL, who I am always sticking up for.
Yeah.
I am always saying that of every sport, like official professional sport, the refs in the NHL are always the most spot on. They're not. They fucking
They've been
suck.
dropping
right
the
now.
ball lately.
Man, oh my!
I don't know what's
God.
happening, but
it's weird.
In particular, like in the Eastern Series, there was a lot of shitty calls in last night's game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shitty calls in the Pens Flyers series.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of shitty calls in the first game that you played with the Caps.
The refs completely missed Tom Wilson's check to the head
right.
on Brian Dumoulin.
Right.
That was ridiculous to me.
It's because Tom Wilson's a shitty goon and always has been.
He's a fucking goon.
Anyone who likes them should just fucking step on a paperclip.
Well, he's one of those, like, how many times has the league talked to him about that shit? You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, it's okay to be physical and it's okay to accumulate some penalties. It's not okay to try and hurt somebody. You're like,
yeah.
It's a difference between being aggressive and wearing someone out and trying to end their career with your shoulder.
right. Yeah, it's fucking, like, in football, that's targeting, that's, you're tossed from the game and that's a fucking suspension. Like, you can't,
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if they would have caught him in hockey, that's a game misconduct, and like you can't do that.
Yeah, the refs this postseason are just fucking asleep.
They're horrible. So, and like, I'm not just saying it because we got shitty calls in last night's game and in the game we won before. Okay, the Sharks and the Knights played last night, and I have no dog in that fight.
Yeah,
I
right.
have none. Like, Alex, a big San Jose fan. I like San Jose.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see Vegas do really well in their first season as well. There were a couple key, like the Knights were ahead most of the night, and there were a couple key calls that were like blatant that the refs, the linesman or the referee didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a couple like calls that would have went against San Jose. The game ended up going into overtime, and the Knights pulled it out in overtime. But they would not have gotten that far, I'm convinced, if the refs would have picked up on some of these calls. I mean, there were like, there was two blatant slashes. There was an elbow that were like, and the two slashes happened in front of the line judge.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are you?
Yeah, they're just fast
dropping
asleep.
the ball. And then the game last night, the net got dislodged. Did you see that shit? The net was dislodged for like a minute and 15 seconds during a power play. And then like Tampa Bay was like waving to the ref, "Hey, the net's dislodged. Get a stoppage. We need to stop it." They're waving to the line judge. Line judge isn't paying attention. And then the puck starts coming towards the the Bruins defensive zone, and Tuukka Raski's going, "Hey, the net's dislodged.
Like, hey, what the fuck?
Hey, get a whistle." What
the fuck?
Yeah, like they just didn't see it. Like, and everybody in the arena is screaming at them.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you fucking get paid to literally see that shit. Like, what
Your
are you
job
doing?
is to see.
But they've and I'm always talking those guys up, and they just dropped the ball, man. They
Yeah.
just this has been like the worst.
It's been weird.
Yeah,
playoff series.
it's been pretty weird as a playoff series in general too, especially when you consider like the number of games in different series that have just been like blowouts that happened.
Now, I will say, though, that generally speaking, like just by the very nature of hockey, the teams that have won so far in the playoffs are the teams that probably should have.
Sure, I agree. I agree.
Officiating notwithstanding,
Right.
things definitely tend to shake out. Like you might see some bad calls change the course of a game, but you rarely feel afterwards like they altered the destiny of a series.
On paper,
Yeah.
the teams that won are the teams that should have won, and now we're in the meat and potatoes of it. We're in,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like we're where, everything belongs. All the wild card teams, I think, are out at this point.
Oh, really?
They are, yeah.
So it's like these are the teams. These are the games you want to see. So. But I mean,
It's been weird.
it's been rough. I'm always talking up the NHL officiating crew because they're usually pretty good. But
Yeah. And you really want to have, not even just want to have, you have to have like a deep confidence in the officiating in order to enjoy a sport.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just really unsettling.
Yeah,
to
except
see.
any game that Wes McCauley hasn't been in has been bad.
Yeah.
when he's had referee, and then just like ticky tack shit. They're calling they missed 2 big slashes on the Sharks, and then they called one in the first period in the San Jose game where it was just like a little thwack on the inside of the thigh that was like a little, He didn't hit his stick. He hit him like a little like.
Yeah,
now, that's not a slash.
I'm surprised they didn't call the slash on you guys the other night when they were moving into your zone.
I know.
The puck went off of what's his name?
Torrey Krug. He hit Torrey Krug in the face mask with the puck, and he whacked him in the.
I was gonna call him Korg. I'm glad I didn't say it, except that I did.
Yes. Krug got hit in the face with the puck.
Puck goes right into his visor and then off.
Whacked Steven Stamkos in the hands.
Yeah, like, hey, fuck you.
Oh, who was it the other night that got cracked in the mouth with a chara slap?
That was rough.
That was someone on the was that someone on the Leafs?
That was the Lightning. No, it was the Leafs. It was the last. It was Game 7.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could remember who that was because it was bad, man.
This atomizer keeps scaring the shit out of me. I've switched to this because it's quieter, but it keeps exploding. There's something popping in here, and it's like a trick cigar. Like, I'm scared.
But I wouldn't. I'd be careful with that because those things do explode.
Yeah, if anything, though, it would be the battery, not the top part.
Right.
So
Battery.
So I will tell you why I think we're fucked, and I talked with you, I think, already a little bit about this, Chris, possibly. I can't remember. No, maybe it wasn't you. I can't remember. But the reason we are fucked is that the unfuckable subhuman community of incels have spread from their internet retreat to actual physical violence.
Yeah.
In the way of mowing down a bunch of people walking down a sidewalk in, was it Toronto?
It was Toronto. Yeah. 10 people.
We've talked about the incels on this show before, but in case someone listening doesn't know who they are, they describe themselves as involuntarily celibate or incel.
Involuntarily.
That might be more accurate.
There was I was reading on Tumblr actually. The term incel was coined in the mid 90s by I think an author who identified as whatever it is when you like feel like you change sexualities. I can't keep up with all of it.
Yeah, I know. What's the right word?
Queer, I think, is what she identified as.
Okay.
But she coined it because at the time she was trying to date, and that's what it felt like to her. She was involuntarily celibate.
Yeah. You know, it's like that's
she of course like hates now that this is what it is now.
Yeah, she should get together with the Pepe the Frog guy.
Yeah.
They could lament that the internet took their thing and made it terrible.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that on the way here because I made a pretty inflammatory post on Incel Tears that has gotten exactly the kind of reaction I expected.
Oh, really? You got to tell me a bit about this.
Well, I
don't even know about the sub.
I basically, Incel Tears, which is as much for showcasing all of the the violent and awful misogynist tendencies of incels, but also about helping those who come and say like, hey, I'm an incel and I don't like this worldview, help me out of it, and people will jump on it and really really go out of their way to help. But I posted something saying to the effect of that the incel mindset. This was a comment on a picture. Which pretty succinctly said, if every incel in the world was to have a girlfriend, the net violence in the world would increase. Which led to me basically saying, these guys have been brought up to think that Hollywood is real life and that women are a reward to be earned for being a good boy, and if to them, I said something to the effect of like, to an incel, if a woman isn't dating him or if a woman is refusing him sex, she's not only an object, she's a malfunctioning object. Ugh. And he treated the same way as an out of tune TV. He'd smack the object.
Yeah.
So some people really didn't care for this, I guess, or really
Some incels didn't really care for this. Everyone else thought it was spot on. But,
yeah, right.
But
I bet you got a lot of karma.
Oh,
on that bad boy.
I got some. I did get some karma, but I also got some pretty angry, like, look at all the assumptions you're making. This isn't a logical thing to say, like try to make it out like I'm
Dude, one of you just ran 11 people over.
Yeah, right. Like
what do
maybe
you-
now is not the time to correct me.
Yeah.
Maybe y'all should do a huddle.
Right.
Except they can't because Reddit took their little home away.
No, well, they've got a new one now. It's called Brain Cells. BRAINCELS. And then they've got forums hosted on other sites, like old style, BBS type
Yeah, like
things.
the
7chan.
or like the Daily Stormer or whatever, they go hang out with the Nazis. They'll be glad to have them.
Sure. But I mean, like BBS hosted forums that are dedicated specifically to inceldom. And
Seldom.
the biggest thing was at the end of the post, I said these people shouldn't be allowed to have forums on the internet because it's been proven to be a damaging and violent worldview.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't drive people to violence, it drives them to suicide.
NPR did a really good article, sort of like, hey, this just happened. What are incels and what should you understand about them? Because NPR is amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And they had someone basically describing the subculture of incels. And I think the most interesting thing I hadn't really thought about, but it is the fact that they egg each other on.
Yeah. They do.
It's not something I really thought about before. But that's sort of how they escalate, is they all like their impotence, their collective impotence
and to add on,
expresses itself.
Yeah, and to add on top of that, whenever someone has like a breakthrough, a success, and they're like, I hung out with this girl and I was able to act like a normal person around her, and I think she's into me, I'm into her. Mm-hmm. Some measure of social success, they're immediately ostracized and guilted out of this community.
That's so weird.
And if they don't have the wherewithal to break out of that cult tactic, then they get sucked right back into it.
That's fucked
and
up.
And start to believe, no, they're right. It's too good to be true. I'm deluding myself.
Or if they have just a very normal human relationship failure that you don't have to be like historically bad at relationships to have. If just things go sour, because sometimes things do, then it's proof positive.
Yeah.
It's proof positive that the women are the problem. Like they can talk themselves into that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a great TED Talk recently, which I encourage everybody to watch. It's on their YouTube. It was about a guy who got suckered into a white supremacist group and became a leader, and how he got into it and why he got into it and how he got out of it.
It seems scary easy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's like this, punk kid standing on the street, skipping school, smoking cigarettes, and somebody came up to him, smoking weed.
Yeah.
And came up to him and some, skinhead knocks the joint out of his head and says, "Don't do that. That's what the Jews want you to do." And like he's like as stupid as that sounds, like that's what, it's just somebody looking for belonging.
A Rasmussen
somewhere.
poll of Jews.
We don't like it. we don't like it when you don't smoke marijuana.
Yeah, please continue smoking marijuana. Sincerely,
The Jews. No, but it's something. It's these people who like feel dejected.
Yep.
In some way, and they're just looking for a group. And
Yeah.
it's that hive mind,
It's scary to me.
Cults work in the same way,
Yeah.
and perhaps more insidiously, multi-level marketing works the same way.
Yeah. I mean, all these things, all this stuff is basically like really, really base level social engineering that like we're all susceptible to. That's what freaks me out about it is I'm like a couple of bad weeks and losing my job from becoming something I don't want to be.
Yeah.
If I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time
sure.
and I'm desperate enough. Like the brain's in charge on some level.
Sure.
And I'm scared of what people can do to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is. It's super easy to get sucked into the, you were talking about some guy who came into town when your sister was younger and in high school.
Yeah.
Trying to put people into guava juice or whatever the fuck. Trying to get people into Jamba Juice.
Y'all like Jamba Juice? I'll tell it again real quick. It was that she met a guy who, I can't remember if she met him at a coffee shop or something. He rolled into town in a Beamer. He was maybe in his early 20s. He started making friends, and he started organizing parties at those other friends' houses to invite more friends to. He did this shit expertly. And what the whole thing was wrapped around was this product, which has now been, they've been into it with the SEC multiple times. They're called Vima. And they're basically like nutrient juice bullshit, the same kind of bullshit you see everywhere.
Right, Jamba
Juice. Orange Julius.
Yes.
But the thing is, the dude sold the image of success.
Yeah.
And then he would start these dialogues with these kids saying, hey, what's your dream? Whatever you want, Vima can be the thing that helps get you there. Teaches you how to be a business person. Teaches you how to manage your time. Let's as a group, all follow our goals as long as the short-term goal is Vima.
Sure.
And that fucking kid got, given that company car to roll into town to pull this bullshit.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the whole pyramid scheme of it works.
And in his defense, he's right if you're willing to be an awful person.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Say, it will teach you how to be,
a good businessman.
A good businessman.
A true capitalist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
An amoral capitalist
Sure.
whose only goal is to continue growing, growing your downline, making your money.
Right.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts.
Now, having said that, I watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, and I am not against him at all. I'm totally on Jordan Belfort's side.
Maybe it's just the way they told it. But
I don't know. And I've read snippets of his book. I would work for the guy. I'm sorry. I'd be a bad person. I would work for him.
it's hard for me to say what I would do.
I would work for him.
Because the thing is, I think at the core, I'm a really moral guy.
You are.
Or at least, I really believe in the value of morality.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you really kind of have to put that part of your brain off.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that job.
For sure. That's why I couldn't do the sales jobs I was being offered when I first started this job search.
Yeah.
I can't, because I was even told in one of the interviews, we encourage you to attempt to sell to friends and family, and I'm like, nope. Not doing it.
Exactly. Right off the bat.
No.
Not going to use my family as my clients.
Yeah, I could maybe get away with not doing that and pretending I did.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I would just rather not be in an environment that fosters that kind of idea.
There's a reason you keep business and friendship or business and family separate unless you have a family business, in which case it's not possible.
Right. Yeah. As the great Biggie Smalls once said, money and blood don't mix like two dicks and no bitch. Find yourself in serious shit.
Like two dicks and no bitch. I will give him, the basic principle that it's hard to mix dicks.
Yeah, you can't make,
You can't smash them together. You can't make one dick out of them.
You can't do a little Twizzlers
right.
Thing. You can dock one dick and another dick. That's fine.
Yeah, docking is. Did Biggie know about docking?
Did he know about docking?
I don't think Biggie knew about docking.
Let's find out. I want to know.
Biggie was too busy smoking pounds of marijuana and being rich.
What do you think the last time was that Biggie saw his own dick?
I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know, but I know
Did
a lot
he call
of
it Lil Biggie.
I know a lot of other. That's awesome. I know a lot of other people saw Biggie's dick, and I don't think he cares if he could see it or not.
A lot of people saw Biggie's dick.
A lot of people. A lot of. I'm assuming women.
Yeah. Probably.
Probably a lot of women saw Biggie's
I mean,
dick.
we wasn't trying to mix dicks, so I'm guessing he wasn't.
But no. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. I had a good point and I lost it completely.
Shit.
Not mixing friends and business.
I was going to say not mixing dicks.
But the point I was going to make was that, take it from someone who is a salesman.
Yeah.
You don't have to compromise. Any real sales job, you don't have to compromise your morals to be a good salesman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of the best salesmen are honest with the people that they're talking to. I would include myself in that category. I don't know if I'm the best salesman, but I'm not.
Michael Scott.
Yeah, I'm not dishonest. Like if you ask me my opinion, I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I don't, and I want to succeed at my job, but I also don't want to rip anybody off. Like that's the last thing I want to do.
Almost every legitimate business, with probably very few exceptions, like the reason that they operate, why they do is that if they're going to get your money, if they're going to, actually have a transaction with you, they want to provide you value, and they want to provide a compelling argument for why they're providing you value. So, when you have to bury the lead on why the shit that you're, selling maybe, not particularly useful or valuable or whatever, if you got to bury that lead, if you get a snake around it, probably not dealing with a legitimate business and a legitimate product.
There's a conversation I had with our old store manager. And I came off of having a real string of good months in a row where I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was getting a lot of one of the things they encourage us to do is get the credit cards. Like that's any retail place, they want you to get the credit card. And I had a month where I was at the top of the store. Yeah. And then but to do that, I had to go a little pushier than I wanted to.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing all the time. It's okay to be a little pushy, but you don't want to annoy people. And I went a little too far. And the next couple months I dropped off, and he pulled me aside and we were talking about it, and I'm like, I can't do that sleazy used car salesman thing. And he's like,
you're a guy with debt. I'm a guy with debt.
Yeah.
I understand why it's maybe not comfortable to really push people to get a credit card.
And when he told me, he's like, I would never ask you to compromise your morals ever. That what we need to do is find a way to have you offer it the right way, without being pushy. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because there's a key there. If you believe in something, which I know you do, because it helps. I mean, it helps us. It helps people. It actually does help.
If you don't believe in what you're selling,
right, it's never going to work.
You either have to be really good at pretending, or you have to, find something to believe in.
I love refrigerators.
In my experience, I do actually. In my experience, if you don't believe at all, you can't fake it. You cannot fake it. You gotta.
There are sociopaths out there that can, and those guys end up on Wall Street.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Those are the guys that Jordan Belfort found.
Yeah,
those are the guys that Neil Breen helped expose.
Right.
I have exposed the most corrupt politicians. Governments.
I am resigning today as president of the bank.
That's right. Yeah.
With the guy. Oh my God! Can we just say early recommendation? Take it out of the possibilities for later. Please watch Fateful Findings.
Yeah.
What an incredible bad movie.
Yeah.
Fateful Findings. Again, I was spending all that time just so excited because there were people in there who didn't know how it ended. And I was so happy.
As we watched and we got closer, I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna happen.
God.
That is, and again, I can't spoil anything about Fateful Findings, but it is maybe the best ending of any movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
We got towards the end, and I just kept saying, I'm just so confused.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I was kind of goading you on too, like, hey, who could that man be with the shoes?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who do you think that is?
Yeah.
I bet you're wondering.
Aren't you?
Aren't you? Never find out answers to anything you care about in this movie.
Never.
nope.
So maybe let's take a little break.
Say, baby, do you want to lay down with me?
Say, baby, do you want to lay down by my side?
Hey, baby, do you want to lay down with me? Say, baby.
Say, baby.
Yeah, a little Primus break for you.
Yeah, let's take a little break here, and when we come back, we will.
Suck each other's dicks.
Suck each other's dicks on microphone. It's gonna be weird. We will come back with a Would You Rather for you boys.
Yep.
And then the main topic for this episode.
Sweet.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
Stick around.
All right.
And welcome back.
Hey, we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
After our little Joe G break.
From outer space.
Man,
I'm just walking in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave the key. If I'd known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me.
Here's the thing. She was stupid for leaving a fucking astronaut.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's
He came back from space and she's like, not good enough.
not good enough. You don't get to spend a year on the ISS and then come back like, oh, I was just in Atlanta.
Yeah, fuck you, Diana Ross. You fucking asshole.
I thought it was Donna Summer.
You fuck you,
I thought
Donna
it was Gloria
Summer.
Gaynor.
It was Gloria Gaynor. You're right.
I thought it was Yoko Ono.
I thought it was Reba McEntire.
I thought it was
The Yoko
Adele.
Ono cover of I Will Survive.
I thought
I'm
it
not
was
going to even do that impression.
No.
the
Not
artist
touching that.
formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, you know what
the
it was.
dead guy formerly known as
How about the Alanis?
Alive.
How about the Alanis Morissette cover of I Will Survive?
I will survive.
Jing, 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 jing,
Yeah.
jing.
Oh, no,
Man, real talk, I love Alanis.
Yeah, Alanis is the shit. Jagged Little Pill was the soundtrack to my 95
you've,
and my 96.
You guys have seen her music video cover of My Lumps, right?
No.
My Humps.
Oh, sorry.
Not my lumps. No, My Humps.
It's a song about tumors.
Yeah. No, wrong.
My lumps. My terribly concerning
it's
lumps.
It's just her in the shower, like, I was like,
No, she.
just doing the little circle movement.
No, but she has an incredible cover of My Humps, and the music video is hysterical.
I believe it.
It's done like it's done to be hilarious.
Done to be Alanis doing a song Alanis shouldn't be doing.
Right. Yeah, she knows what she's doing. Like, it's not.
I like Alanis. Here's the thing about Alanis Morissette is that, like, you know how people say, like, they have breakup songs?
Yeah.
Every woman walking the face of the earth, every American woman at least, has an entire album dedicated to a breakup, and that's Jagged Little Pill.
Yep.
That album
Yeah.
is fucking awesome.
Yes, it is. There were. She was in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if you know this.
No.
She was like playing a live show at someone's house, and Larry is there, and he's talking to her, and he's saying, you know, what song was it of hers about the mysterious? Like, no one knew who the song was about.
Oh, yeah.
You were so vain.
No. It's
I want you to know.
It's what the fuck is that song called?
Another version. You ought to know.
That's it. You ought to know.
Oh yeah.
Is he perverted like me?
So he pulls her aside and he's like, "Hey, who's this? Who's it about? Whatever." And she's like, "I don't want to tell anyone." And he says, "I'm very good with secrets. I'm incredibly good with secrets. You can trust me." And for some reason, he convinces her, and she tells him who it's about. And then I think he ends up blurting it out to somebody else, and it's like chaos.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's Uncle Jesse. It's about Uncle Jesse.
It's, what's the hell's his name? Dave Coulier. Right?
Yeah, Dave
John
Coulier.
Stamos.
Yeah.
Richard Stamos. No, it's about John Stamos. Yeah, it's Uncle Jesse.
Uncle Jesse. It's John Stamos.
What's Dave Coulier?
I don't know. Maybe.
Which one is
I don't
which?
know. I'm not into the. And I'm here.
John Stamos is the Greek one.
Yeah, but I thought she dated Dave Coulier, the other uncle.
Oh, I don't know. I never watched Full House.
Yeah, me either. I mean, like a couple of reruns when I was too young to really watch it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I never got into sitcoms really. The only one I found myself like absolutely engrossed in was Cheers.
Man, what a great sitcom.
It kind of goes a bit beyond sitcom too, you know, like it
Dave Coulier. You're right.
Nice.
it does manage to kind of underhandedly go at a few sitcom tropes while it's, you know, frivolously engaging in them.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
folks.
Pepperoni. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I got a would you rather for you boys.
Oh yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it. Oh god, that weird Homer Simpson penis head.
My
He's got
wallpaper has been this creepy Homer Simpson for like a really long time.
fucking gross.
It just freaks everybody out, and I do not care.
Oh, the photorealistic Homer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a guy did a whole bunch of photorealistic.
There's one of Mario, I remember.
Yep, there's one of Fry from Futurama.
Yeah.
That's like really weird looking. Anyway, I've got a would you rather for you boys to warm us up for this episode.
All right.
Here's the question: would you rather?
Yes.
There you go. We're done.
All right.
Be an internet famous musician and live high on the hog, but you have an irresistible compulsion to lick every person you meet.
Ooh.
Or 2, you no longer have to sleep. So you never go to bed. You don't have
sleep.
to. You can if you want,
No
but
sleep.
you don't have to. Wait. So you could be up almost all the time, but for 8 hours a day, you look exactly like Bill Cosby, and the 8 hours are random.
Oh.
So you guys might remember interesting fact about notorious cult musician Wesley Willis.
Yeah.
That he would headbutt people when he
when he
greets them.
greeted-
He ended up
Yeah.
having like a mark in the middle of his head from
Permanent
doing it.
bruise right in the middle of his forehead. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. And that dude was, naturally beloved. I don't
Yeah,
know if
everybody loved him.
licking someone would necessarily, damn me.
Throw you
You've
off
got to
to it.
lick everyone you meet.
Yeah.
Including like the president, presumably. If
Yeah,
that
if
ever
you meet someone, and the thing is, like, maybe there's some times where you can resist it, but like
It's a
most of the
compulsion,
time,
yeah.
you're like, I gotta lick it.
like a skin tearing compulsion, like you gotta
yeah,
you know.
it's just a thing you have to do.
Sure.
But like it's people you directly meet, like people like not just people you see on the street. I mean, you would
You've got
agree.
you got to stop and have an introduction kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Now is this like the first time I'm meeting someone, or like every time? Like if I came over here today, like, and I've known you guys for like 5 or 6 years or whatever.
For the sake of this, let's just say you only have to lick each person once.
Okay.
But
It's
it's
been longer
every.
than 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Try like 7 or 8.
We're like losing track of time here.
I hate getting old.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's the deal. It's like, and maybe sometimes you want to lick them again because you're not sure. Like your brain's building a database of what people taste like. So maybe if you forget, you're like, I gotta try him again.
So let me talk my way through this here.
Yeah.
I'm YouTube famous.
Yep.
YouTube music, right? So presumably a platform like YouTube, you're super open about, right? So I can let people know that that's a thing that happens,
yeah.
and it's not like a weird, creepy sexual thing. It's
No.
just
Just have like a. You can tell from the thumbnail you're like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he's talking about something important.
Oh, he's doing like a Markiplier thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Markiplier.
Now, that's not to say that everybody is going to be prepared for this, but again, famous.
Sure.
A lot of people
Are gonna know who I am.
are going to know who you are.
Yeah.
Not everybody. Maybe especially not here in the Midwest. But like, when you go into crowds, especially in bigger places, people might be more likely to know who you are, what's going on.
If I am aware Cosby, do I turn into Bill Cosby gradually, or is it just like all of a sudden,
Like American Werewolf style. Just,
yeah, just smash cut, and I'm Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
It's like 60 seconds. Like you have a full minute's worth of where you start to look at your hands and you see the wrinkles
And the blackness.
the blackness and the pudding pop materializing in your hand, and you go, "Fuck!" It's like turning into a pumpkin again after the ball. Like you gotta.
Oh no! Here I go again.
Yeah, exactly. You have a limited amount of time. I'm not even going to say 60. Let's say 30 seconds. So whatever social interaction you're currently in the middle of, you have like 30 seconds to hide before people are like, "Fuck it!" That I knew it was Bill Cosby all along.
As much as I would like to never need sleep again,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with the music.
I think it's probably
I'm gonna go
the
with
right
music.
call.
I think I'm gonna go with. The
I
music.
think it's fulfilling, and it's not like every time I meet someone I gotta put my finger up their butt.
Yeah.
It's
Man, I really should have gone with that.
Ooh, that would be a tough. That would be.
That'd be harder. But again, I don't know. I don't want to lick strangers.
No, I don't
at
either.
all.
Well, I mean, but you would if you had that compulsion.
You have to, yeah. You didn't seem to decide, Chris. Are you going with licking people?
I was, you know what? I enjoy sleeping because I am a depression case. So the thought of not sleeping is just
but here's
unimaginable
the thing. Here's
to
the
me.
thing. You really have to envision that your desire for sleep goes away.
Okay.
yeah. Like
You can if you want to, but you won't want to.
I hate sleeping. I if I could just never and have no downside, just never sleep for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Think of all I add like another 50%
Yes.
to the amount of time in which I can do shit on this earth.
You become the 150% man. Yeah. You live the fullest possible life. Some of that is Bill Cosby.
Say I live 90 say I live for 90 years. Say I live for another 60 years until I die.
Yeah.
That's still, 1.5 times more time than what everyone else who lives 60 years from 30 is going to get.
Right.
Yeah. That's insane. That's an extra 15 years.
I will say if it
Just
wasn't
from not
for
sleeping.
if it wasn't for the randomness factor, I think I'd do the Cosby. I think I'd go Cosby.
If I knew it could be when I could be indoors in private and just do my terrible Jekyll and Hyde thing where I turn into an awful elderly rapist.
Do you become because Bill Cosby's going blind?
Oh, no, you can see.
Okay.
You just look exactly like
You just
him.
look like him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're basically you're yourself in every other way except you look
You could just do
dead
like
ringer for Bill Cosby.
Ethan Clyde's white face.
Yeah.
White face man.
Yeah.
I'd carry a morph suit with me at all times, so I could just put that on and just be Green Man,
I mean, really, if you brought a mask with you, I guess, you could hide the Cosby.
Possibly.
But then you're still a guy walking around in a weird sweater.
Yeah.
Right, that's the other thing, dude. My clothing must change appearance, right?
Yeah, you're gonna put on you're gonna take on a Cosby sweater. You're gonna have the whole thing.
Oh man, it's so tempting to just never need sleep again. But I mean, on the other hand,
I'm gonna say I don't want to do the sleep thing. I think even with.
It's hard to imagine not wanting to sleep.
Yeah, I think maybe that's my hang up here. I think I'm gonna go with the music thing here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the music thing.
See, I'm the guy who never wants to go to bed and never wants to get out of bed.
Right.
I'm both. I resist sleep until it's impossible, and then eventually I don't want to leave it either.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be, I think for me it'd be almost like a freedom. Freedom from the sleep cycle that I don't want to be a part of either way.
Right.
yeah.
But no, I think I'm going with the musician and licking people. I think we're probably unanimous here.
Yeah, you gotta go look at people.
Yeah.
Go with licking people.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
All right, well, that does it.
Anyway.
So anyway, a lot of anyway this episode.
Yeah.
So this week, I want to talk about Cringe.
Ooh, okay. Ooh.
One thing we have never talked about, and it ends up factoring prominently in the stuff I like, is that experience of cringe or just being embarrassed for somebody.
Right.
Like that experience
God, I
of looking
hate
at
that.
somebody else and go, oh, thank God it's not me.
Now I want to establish first that cringe has kind of taken on an awful definition and connotation over the years where people use it as an excuse to bully other people for doing things that they like and are not embarrassed by.
Yeah, sure.
People drawing like porn of the movie Cars and posting on DeviantArt. Like,
not a thing I would engage in, but I'm not gonna hate anyone for doing that.
Yeah, they're not. It's weird. There's no denying it's
weird.
There's no denying it's weird.
Yeah.
But it's not something to try and publicly shame people for.
Right.
Look at this weirdo.
Like certain things are up to matters of your personal preferences, and other things are just sort of just objectively uncomfortable.
Well, we talked about this. We were watching on Sunday the what was it?
It's creepy asterisk.
Creepy asterisk.
That's what got me thinking about it.
Yeah,
so that might be the most epic cringe that exists.
Because it's particularly awful because there's just a bit of nice guy mixed in there too. You know,
Often, almost always, it seems like in there somewhere is I'm gonna do this creepy asterisk play acty thing with you. And if you don't like it, I'm gonna wig out at you too.
Right.
And sometimes in a weird passive, super
califragilistic.
Yeah.
super emasculated way.
Yeah.
It's because it's always men.
Yeah,
It's
like,
always men.
like looks down at floor and blushes.
Yeah. Milady.
Bulge begins to show in pants. Yeah. those are the ones that always just like.
Well, like in particular, the ones like, and I think I
Make my
said this on
skin
Sunday.
crawl.
Like, I don't want to kink shame anybody. Whatever weird thing you're into, that's cool.
Everyone's
But,
got
like,
their own weird
But
thing.
like the creepy asterisks that we were watching were like of people in like a play incest chat group.
yes.
You remember that? It's
That
like in
was the
particular,
worst
like
one.
daddy daughter shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
That's like apparently a whole subculture we learned that existed that we didn't know existed.
Like, I'm not trying to kink shame, but fuck that. That's fucking weird, man. That's fucked.
See the way I understand
fucked.
the way I understand the daddy thing is it's not really related to incest per se, but it can easily be taken by people who are into incest.
in this case, what we're talking about
was incest.
definitely
was definitely
It's like
incest.
it's like story starts off, dad in shower, little girl walks in.
no.
Yup. And it goes from there. It's fucked up. It's like and it's all people like sort of text chatting or whatever, or like transcribing creepy little scenarios.
Yeah. Oh.
Be taking a shower.
So I think I think in that case it's definitely like, especially when it's just those like random Facebook messages. It's like you should know better, and you don't know enough to feel embarrassed about this now.
Yeah.
But give it time and you will.
Yeah. Milady.
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 Neckbeard's ruining everything.
Tips fedora.
To me, I think the prime example of cringe that I always go to is the infamous Karl Stefanovic attempting to tell a Dalai Lama joke to the actual Dalai
Oh,
Lama.
yeah.
And it
It doesn't land.
Is there anyone better than Karl Stefanovic?
Yeah.
I don't know if there is.
like it makes me tense up every time I think about it, because the Dalai Lama sit there going like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just been given the punchline and
Yeah.
he's going, it is possible. Like he doesn't
technically possible.
He doesn't. For anyone listening who doesn't know who Karl Stefanovic is,
It's like Good Morning Australians. Good Morning.
The Today Show
That's it.
Australia.
he's one of the like 4 or 5 hosts. I can't remember how many people are there.
He's an anchor there,
Yeah.
and he's fairly well known in Australia. Like he's like the Australian Bob Costas, except more animated and more fun.
He's like the Australian Bob Costas, except not an asshole and fun.
He's like the Australian Matt Lauer, except definitely didn't assault anybody.
Right.
The worst thing Karl Stefanovic ever did was get drunk on air.
Amazing.
Not only on air, at an awards show.
Yeah.
like a big like primetime awards show.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where they kept cutting back to them in between things happening on the stage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like back to the anchors who are like, Karl is getting fucking drunk.
Drinking presumably drinking Fosters. Presumably. Because that's what
I feel like Foster's is too weak for a man like Karl.
Yeah.
But no, for anyone who hasn't seen the video, he meets with the actual honest to God Dalai Lama and attempts to tell him the joke. The Dalai Lama walks into a pizza shop, and the Dalai Lama, of course, English is not his native language.
Yeah, right.
So this joke just doesn't work in translation. Is the thing.
Yeah.
And he says, "Can you make me one with everything?" And the Dalai Lama sitting there like,
He
Go
says
on.
something like, it's a pizza shop. Just like doing that kind of thing.
Pizza shop, yes. Pizza shop. Yeah. And Carl's just like
possible.
Carl's just like waiting for him to get it, and then just starts cracking up.
Yeah, because he's kind of giving that shit-eating grin. He's doing that little wavy thing. And he goes,
You know what I mean?
know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
That to me is pure distilled cringe. It doesn't get any better than that because of the sheer scale of it.
Jokes that
know
don't
what I
land are inherently
we were talking about
cringy.
that. There is nothing worse than a joke that doesn't land.
Just sucks.
Yeah. We watched one night a bunch of amateur stand-up comedians bombing. Oh my God. And that's fine. You're gonna bomb if you're every once in a while if you're trying to be a comedian.
Yeah.
But like it's the ones that get defensive and try to fight the audience. It's just
the stand-up's job is an impossibly complicated one, and that's why there's a lot of people who are not good at it.
Yeah.
You either need the room with you, or you need to give the room the middle finger in such a way that they change their mind and come with you anyway.
Right.
You have to basically either alpha the room,
Right.
or be so adorable they can't help themselves.
Bill Hicks was really good at that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Bill Hicks, because Bill Hicks would do a room sometimes and then just bomb and then get them back because he would get so angry that he bombed.
I think we talked a zillion times about Bill Burr doing that to the city of Philadelphia.
The
entire city of Philadelphia.
He said on his podcast, he the first thing he did when he got off stage is, called his wife and he's like, I just got, how did he put it? I just got trolled by 11,000 people or something. I can't remember what he said.
Something like that. Yeah, but that's like the ultimate one of the largest forms of cringe I can think of is like someone trying to do something specifically like stand up, where you really need people to have your back and they don't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I would say I guess the same goes for any creative art. Like if you're making a skit on YouTube, where you harass some woman doing stretches in the street and then do parkour after her and then attempt to sue the high profile YouTube channel that rightfully makes fun of your shitty and creepy video.
I hope that guy's delivering pizzas right now, thinking how hard he fucked up. I really do.
Yeah. It is like there has to be an expectation. There has to be an expectation there for it to be cringe. Excuse me. For someone to know better, if they're just doing something for the sake of they're just enjoying it. They're just really enjoying doing it. That kind of shows through. I remember one of the very first cringe threads I ever saw. This is way back on the Something Awful forums.
Oh God.
Yeah,
back when those were it.
Right. Someone posted a little thing of it was a YouTube video of this kid doing like a Yankee Candle unboxing and talking about describe it. This is like some 14 or 15-year-old kid unboxing the candles, smelling them, describing the smells, describing all the the stuff that went into it, and kind of rating him in comparison to his favorites, and everyone was like, that's not cringe. This kid just really likes candles.
Right. See, to me, that's so like,
and he knows a lot about them. It's awesome.
I'd never approach this kid. I'd never talk about this kid, but I would be sitting there going, "Why the fuck am I watching someone unbox a candle?"
I don't know why.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He knew a lot about. He knew his shit, but it's like and it's very clear.
Yeah, not cringe.
He just really liked candles.
Yeah, there's a fine line there. I mean,
not
it's
cringe, but definitely obsession. I don't understand, and that's funny inherently.
Right.
Now this comes back to a more modern YouTuber, which is running on empty food review.
Let's talk about review, bro.
Definitely not cringe.
Review, not cringe, not at all.
In fact, it's the closest thing to genius I've seen on YouTube.
It's total authenticity.
The average asshole is not going to a 5-star steakhouse. The average asshole is going to Taco Bell to get the new quesarito.
And he would like to know if it's good before he gets there.
We've done McDouble Watch. Like we are very discerning with our sub $10 foods.
We are very particular men about our fast food. I will say that.
Absolutely. And it pays to be, because that way, I think public opinion does definitely direct kind of the course of fast food.
Yeah.
Even more so than it does for like fine dining. Because when you go to fine dining, you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get.
You can get a chicken parm and know exactly what's going to be on that thing.
Yeah.
But like if enough people are dissatisfied with Taco Bell's new cheese and beef and bean creation or any combination thereof, they're gonna find a different way to present it. They're gonna add like some fresh new ingredient like Frito crumbs.
Yeah, right. Throw Fritos in
it. They're gonna do what it takes to make as many people watching the Super Bowl go, "Ooh, that looks neat."
Yeah, right. Hey, speaking of Taco Bell in particular, they got this. They got a new menu thing going on, right?
What's that?
They have it's like a burrito with more cheese somehow. It's basically the same dumb thing.
Oh, I might have had
Taco
this.
Bell.
It's the triple melt.
That's it. The triple melt.
I had it. It's indistinguishable from a quesarito.
It's all the same fucking shit, man.
It's a quesarito with no rice and more other shit.
How do they keep fooling us?
Listen, I just want to know when they're going to do.
It's the same 6 or 7 ingredients
Yeah.
in various combinations.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Which is just all Mexican food in general.
Right. Well, at least American Mexican food, like whatever the hell what we eat.
Real Mexican food, incidentally, is very good. Like with plantains, it's a lot of veggies and fruit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Super good. Yeah.
Eating cactuses and shit.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever those fucking people are eating. I don't know.
lead.
Yeah, lead. Taking a nap.
Here's a cringy thing. I always think about this when I think of cringy things. The Wendy's ad before they got really good at their advertisement game, and I think they were trying to dip their toe into what do internet people like, and they did that ad with the memer. Oh, do you remember that? Yeah. It was eat sandwich like a boss or something. They had a top and bottom text caption,
Right.
And
bold impact font.
Yeah. And,
It's always got to be impact font.
And my reaction to that was
Fuck off.
Yeah, it was basically the same as that video that was on YouTube with the guy going, "Fucking stop!"
Yeah. And advertising companies, you would expect someone paying millions of dollars to an advertising firm, they could come up with maybe something a little better market tested, like actually get some internet people and show them that and see how many of them just implode.
Yeah, find actual people who are truly from the internet.
Yeah.
Would be a good start.
Don't worry, man. I'm from the internet.
See, that's what I think Arby's has been doing. Every single fucking day they come out with some new cardboard and food craft.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
That references some anime or another or a video game. It's on Facebook. It's just pictures of
I haven't seen this.
Have you not? Arby's Facebook page just kills it with appealing to the anime loving subset of people that eat Arby's. It's because it's sad to say, but that's kind of how you have to appeal to people these days is referential humor.
Yeah,
nothing can ever be like in a vacuum unless it's something absolutely original. If you reference something, people get a sense of inclusion.
Yeah,
and we're right back to cult mentality.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, it's again just a sense of inclusion. It's hey, I got that reference. I've watched that anime. I
cite the reference.
I know what that is.
Something my friend Mitch used to say all the time was cite the reference. Whenever there was something that was clearly a reference, he would no. He's he's a hated referential humor. He always was trying to find the original joke.
Yeah, right.
And he's no, cite the reference. It always keep you honest about it.
Yeah.
What makes you cringe, Chris?
What makes me cringe?
What makes you cringe? I mean, you deal with the general public more than I do.
General public?
General public. I mean, there's got to be some base, repetitive human behaviors that you see all the time. I got one. You texted us to say that you witnessed a dude.
Yeah, this Christian looking motherfucker.
Yes.
He at the store, I was standing, my desk is right in the front of my department, so I'm looking out into the whole rest of the store.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there and I'm drinking my coffee, and this fucking fat neckbeardian. He looked like Christian. He looked like Christian before he was Christine.
He waxed neckbeardian.
Yeah, he waxed neckbeard.
Really waxed neckbeardian.
But he you could see the thought process there. He's first of all, he's one of these dudes who's really big, which is fine because I'm really big too. Who's at the store on his knees. Oh God, Morty.
Oh, Morty.
Playing the video game system he's 5, Wait, so he's playing the Nintendo Switch.
On his knees?
Well, he's like he's not on his knees, but like, you know, the guy, like there's a famous picture of a dude like who's like in his 20s at Walmart playing a 3DS
Like,
on his knees like an
sitting
idiot.
down like a dumbass.
But this dude's like way too tall and way too old to be like sitting there for 40 minutes playing Nintendo Switch.
in public.
In public.
my
Like,
God.
you know this dude's got one, right?
Yeah.
You know he's already got one.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And
Can't be without video games for like an hour.
right, yeah. But he's
I'm
like,
just here because my mom needs a printer.
I watched him do the I watched the thought process happen. I watched him like, you know, like he's like trying to like snort the snot back up into his nose. It's not happening. And I watched him like, you know, like give a little glance and then just take his hand and blow his nose in his hand. Which is okay, maybe in the shower, like
Yes.
when there's it's like
It's fine in the
fine
shower.
in the shower.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, like, but like when there's not like a hot stream of water coming at you,
Constantly cleaning you.
not cool, not cool.
Fucking never. I don't care if you have tissues to wipe it off of you after
No,
that.
you don't do that. He just fucking blew his nose in his hands and then just wiped it on himself. just like used nature. At least he didn't eat it. But he just like, and I don't think he saw me because he never like looked over. But I'm standing there, I'm drinking my coffee, and I think I audibly went, ugh. Like it just watch this guy do this, like, ew.
That is so fucking gross.
Did he put his hand back on the
He did, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
No.
Moral of that story:
No.
don't play any console ever.
Don't touch anything in the
that's
store.
public. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nope.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, he did. He like just kind of, it was weird. He didn't stay much longer after that, but he had been standing there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like
And again,
watching him.
again, this goes back to, you know, cringe is definitely for the people who should know better. They should.
That's the central thing that makes it cringy, isn't it?
They should know better. Again, this isn't just like a thing where he's like, you know, I'm an independent person. I know how to live my life. You know, it's not like he's, you know, like you know, even I would go so far even as to say like adult men who watch My Little Pony. Like fine, fine. If you like the cartoon,
It's
fine.
cool. Like I'm not, you know, but then there's the people who like go to the cons and like
That's kind of over the top.
we're stretching it a little bit.
We're stretching the bounds of what's actually acceptable, especially considering the fact that, you know, there's not a target audience in there.
Yeah, right.
By which I mean, you know, prepubescent girls.
Right.
There's no target audience at these brony cons or anything like that. If you like the show, fine.
Cool. Right. I like cartoons. Like, I can't.
And I guess if you want to hang out with other people who like the show and do pony related things, fine. But like, it's when you get into like, you know, basic hygiene or when
come on.
that video which I want to believe so badly it's fake, and I'm sure it is. The dude who comes out to his father about having a My Little Pony fetish.
I hope that's fake.
I'm pretty sure it's fake, but there's always the non-zero chance that it's real.
That's so hard for me to think about without laughing.
I know we've gone into this discussion deep before on this podcast, but all the real men are dead.
I was thinking that between this and you seeing that guy while you're drinking your I just picture like George C. Scott looking at all this and then just like walking into the garage and hanging himself.
I'm thinking about my Uncle Pete in New Guinea during World War II fighting the Germans, and he caught malaria and almost died. And up until he like lost all the hair on his body, and it never like most of the hair on his body was gone after that because malaria is fucking horrible.
Yeah,
and he like made it into his 80s. You know what I mean? Well, like,
how many guys do you think incidentally in like, because you know it should be clarified, of course, that you know we're talking about, you know, real men, quote unquote. How many you know, how many men do you think in World War II were actually you know secretly and had to be gay or transgender?
Sure.
You know,
like so put up against that sort of like what the traditional idea of real man meant.
But then those same guys would still have to like, you know, pry bullets out of their arms with combat knives.
When I say real men, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
People who like stared down this shit and were just hard asses.
Yeah.
I think
You can have a vagina and be a real man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
for the sake of argument.
Manhood isn't exclusive to guys with dicks and wives who eat steak and drink beer.
I mean manhood in the cultural sense as what it has become, not manhood in the physical sense.
What it is, I think, is also a little bit of taking personal responsibility and understanding how not only how your actions come across to other people, but how they affect other people.
Yeah.
So, in the same token, I don't consider myself less of a real man because I don't want to go to war. I'm a pacifist. I never want to be in a war or anything because I don't want to get my ass killed. But
but you're a guy who, if you saw somebody beating up a woman at a bar, you would stand up and probably lay that guy out.
I would strongly consider it.
You do something. If you had to tear him off of her, if you had to tetear him off of her and sit on his chest, you'd do that.
If I'm the only other person in that bar, I call the police at least.
Yeah.
There's the idea essentially that again, what you do affects the world around you, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
If you're going to Walmart and you haven't showered in a week, people are going to notice, and you're going to you're negatively impacting the experience of other people.
Yeah,
by your stinky, overwhelming presence.
Yeah,
it's. I guess what I'm saying is
take a bath.
What I'm saying is take a bath. Neckbeards are the most oppressed minority.
What I'm trying to say is it's about ethics and gaming journalism.
It's really just about ethics and video game journalism. God.
No, but what I'm finding it hard to get out what I want to say. What I want to say is,
the fuck is calling me?
If you like a thing, if you're passionate about a thing, fine. Go after that thing with all your might, because people who are passionate about the things they like, to me, are like the coolest and most interesting people that I've ever met.
Yeah.
I'm with that. But then that only goes so far. There is a hard limit to that, because some of the things people are really passionate about, you can objectively be like, I don't ever want to witness this.
I don't need to know what Joe Average 999 on YouTube jerks off to in his off hours. I don't need to.
It's hair. It's human hair. It's piles of human hair.
Also known as bedroom pasta.
I only thought of that because I saw on Reddit today a subreddit called Beetlejuicing. Have you heard of this?
Oh God, no.
It's not terrible. Beetlejuicing is what happens when you mention something and the perfect username shows up to comment. Right?
Yeah.
So in this case, it was like people talking about they were talking about something pornographic, and someone's like, I don't like her hair though. And then I jerk off to hair shows up. And you're like, the hair is the best part.
There's a
and someone immediately goes, username checks out, and his username was like checkbot or something. Or something like that.
There's a user, I think, on
perfect.
That shows up occasionally on Reddit called "fucks with ducks." That tends to happen a lot.
Go
to him.
duck yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so any go duck yourself type thing he shows up for, is that it, or?
I think so.
It's ducking stupid.
A fucks with this,
like man arrested for having sex with duck or so. I just know his name shows up a lot. I think a lot of what I'm remembering is actually other people trying to link him and mention him so that he
to get him to
it
show
in
up.
his inbox. Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is
it's really just about ethics and
game journalism.
To avoid being cringy, be passionate insofar as know your audience.
Yeah.
Know your audience is what I'm saying. If you're, even if you don't think anyone's going to watch, if you want to make a video about your recent Yankee Candle haul, that's not going to offend anyone. Go do it.
Right.
If you're making a video about how to draw Lightning McQueen getting butt fucked by that Larry the Cable Guy tow truck, maybe think twice about it.
I'll tell you what, you want to
stick it in my truck, bud. I'll tell you, we're gonna have a good time.
You want to have a good time? You gotta get you some of this tomato dick.
Get you up on a winch.
Get her done.
You'll be saying ka-chow by the end of tonight, I tell you what.
Let me just tell you something else about the number of cars I fuck in the ass.
It's a lot of them. It's all the ones.
Yep.
And I'll show you how to call them a Jiffy Lube.
Tomater. Get her done.
Yeah, Tomater. That's right. That's his name.
I think one of the things that often makes cringe is overconfidence.
Yeah.
It's like an excess of confidence.
Sure, absolutely.
It's like and to speak to the knowing your audience thing, it's like an excess of confidence in a thing that the audience is like totally in disagreement about.
Before I get too big into him, he's apparently gotten a lot better about this over the years.
Okay, little disclaimer. Whoever we're about to talk about might not be so bad anymore.
Christian.
Darkside Phil is this guy's name. He's a fighting game player by trade, but will occasionally attempt to play other games, most famously Metal Gear Solid, which he absolutely sucked at. Not only did he suck really bad at Metal Gear Solid, and the first Metal Gear Solid is not particularly easy.
This guy.
But every Metal Gear Solid game includes a communication system where you can call your support team for advice. You should never not know what to do in a Metal Gear Solid game because you have support staff on your codec that you can call. Darkside Phil doesn't get it. There are these video compilations of this is how you don't play Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear Solid 3. And the vast majority of it is him running around like a nincompoop, not even sneaking, attempting to punch out the guard and then getting seen by another guard. It just really like not getting the idea of a stealth game. And then making weird, teenage sexual humor like, oh, look at her boobies. Yeah. The whole time.
Every time Aaron Hansen plays a video game on Kingdom.
Right.
Aaron Hansen.
He's gotten better about not blaming the game for his own shortcomings.
That's a big one, I think, especially if you're a gaming YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like you're putting yourself out there to people who have also played this game probably
and cherish it.
Oh, that's the big one.
Yeah,
also, like Aaron,
Metal Gear Solid fans did not like these videos.
Yeah.
I have a question about him. Honestly, is I wonder, could it just be like, okay, what's the likelihood that this was just a giant troll? Because he did several of these videos, right? Or at least 2 or 3.
More than that. The videos I'm talking about are compilations.
Okay. Oh, right. So he did a series of many of these.
But he's also known for doing this stuff in like tournament play, like Street Fighter 4 tournament play.
It's just hard to imagine he kept making videos and kept not getting it. Like, it's so weird. Like,
well, because he like many other people who get paid to play video games and then like receive legitimate criticism, he thinks they're trolls.
Right.
He thinks they're people that are trying to troll him and make him upset. When in reality, they're people saying, like the game tells you can call the colonel to figure out what to do.
Right.
Colonel. Customer. This taco comes in 2 varieties, regular and Cool Ranch Dorito flavor. Which would you prefer?
That was so cool. What's his name? David Hayter?
David Hayter.
Yeah, he managed to like a Taco Bell fan.
The voice of Solid Snake.
Gray Fox.
Just like some guy at Taco Bell.
$1.29.
That's why, like the entire. I'm gonna keep shitting on Ego Raptor here because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, sure.
But
if he was, it would also be interesting, wouldn't it?
it would, yeah.
What if
I would sit down.
Aaron Hansen flew to shitty Youngstown to listen to us insult him.
You're right. Well, I have mad respect for Aaron Hansen, but like,
Sure.
And I'm a guy. I don't have nostalgia blinders for like the Zelda games. I didn't play Ocarina of Time until I was an adult in my 20s.
Oh, no?
That's so weird to me.
Majora's Mask was the first Zelda I played, and I did not do well. I didn't.
It's not an easy game.
It's not.
Fair.
I didn't play and beat Majora's Mask until I was in my 20s.
You're on a constant time constraint in Majora's Mask. It's nerve wracking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's an unsettling and spooky game in general. You know.
It is. But like to shit on like, and I was a guy who didn't get into Zelda until I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Right?
Wind Waker's still your jam, right?
Wind Waker's still.
Wind Waker's phenomenal.
And Wind Waker HD might be the best remake I've ever played.
Did they release that for the
Wii U?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still good. Still good.
I think I've got the original for the GameCube. I got to bust that out sometime.
That's good, man.
I think I have it too, actually.
But like to shit on Zelda.
Yeah.
As a whole, that would be like me shitting on Sonic as a whole. Which
not that you would ever do
not that I would do that.
Ocarina of Time fixed one of the biggest problems of that was inherent in designing a 3D adventure game, which was how is your attack going to go where you want it to go? The answer is Z targeting.
Z-targeting, right.
Z-targeting was fucking awesome.
Well, and like
it was buggy sometimes.
He did that sequelitis review, and he's like shitting on Z targeting. It's like, okay, yeah, it's
there's no way you can possibly shit on Z targeting.
Right.
It's
it didn't work right all the time.
Not all the time, but
but it was the first time it happened.
The vast majority of the time, it presented you with this like dynamic cinematic angle where Link's at the bottom right, the enemy's in the upper left, and it's an
awesome.
action shot.
Yeah. It was awesome.
It's a dynamic action shot, and it keeps you locked onto the enemy you're fighting.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant
It made
idea.
what could have been possibly a forgettable fight event awesome every time it worked.
Oh yeah, especially against any enemy that you had to duel with, any enemy with like a sword, a shield, or a sword and shield that you had. They would dodge and they'd block. Any enemy you had to duel with.
What do you call those?
The
guys?
Iron Knuckle,
the leaping lizards,
the Iron
guys?
Knuckle, the Stalfos, the Lizalfos. Yeah. Those fights every time were unforgettable to me because you would actually have to think and strike when the opening hit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like it's him saying like, oh, well, you got the nostalgia blinders on, and then in the same breath, he's like talking about how great Link to the Past is, and Link to the Past is great.
Yeah.
But that's a game like it's a top-down view with like good graphics for the time, but like. You're telling me you don't have nostalgia blinders for that game? Any game that's old that you remember fondly, you have nostalgia blinders for.
We talked about GoldenEye last week, so we don't have to again.
The first time I ever got like, wow, this game sucks. Like, it's fucking shitty. Now, completely different game when you play it with mouse and keyboard at 60 frames.
Yeah, right. I'm sure.
Completely different game.
Yeah.
Super good. Super good.
But yeah, like people that are supposed to play video games for a living that will take, and like I get away with it because I don't play them for a living.
Yeah,
but
right.
Like people blame the game,
Yeah.
And to be fair,
Everybody's guilty.
It's infuriating every time I see anyone do it, though. Even you. Whenever someone's like, the fucking thing cheated, I'm like, I can't. I don't know why it trips a switch in my head where I'm like, come on.
To be fair, sometimes it is definitely the game's fault.
Yeah, a lot of times it's limitations. But like sports games,
not as often as I think it is.
Sports games in particular, there's a setting. I think we've talked about it before. There's a setting on sports games that's called
rubber banding.
Well, it's computer difficulty adjustment is the name of the stat, and you can thank EA for that because they're the ones who implemented that.
Thanks, EA.
It's and actually the playthrough that we did of Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey '98 had that stat, and there was no way to adjust it.
It got us bad.
Yeah, it's like you're up by 3 goals, and then the last minute they come back and they win. They score.
Right.
Like it's a thing. Like if you're doing too good. Sports games, if you don't turn, you can turn that stat down now. Thankfully, a team will come back and beat you or start playing harder, like up the difficulty. It's artificial difficulty. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
just because I'm doing super good doesn't mean you have to counteract the difficulty for me.
This is why I sing the praises of Dark Souls so much. It's difficult, but it's not adaptive. If you know how to beat a boss, you can beat him without too much trouble.
Yeah.
The game will never increase its difficulty if it thinks you're doing too well.
Adaptive difficulty is something that's good in concept and almost always bad in practice.
Almost always.
You really do want to have a challenge. You don't want to just breeze through whatever it is.
Sure.
But ascertaining from the computing side how good you are and how to like make it close,
Yeah.
it's really hard to do.
Which is why again, with Dark Souls, it eliminates the guesswork. You can either do it or you can't.
Yeah,
And if you can't do it, you keep practicing until you can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Think about a game like Super Meat Boy, which has one of the finest jump arcs ever programmed.
For sure.
Ever. That game is hard.
Yeah.
But it is never unfair. Everything is
Right.
laid out for you.
Exactly.
You know exactly what you have to avoid. And if you miss it, it's not the game's fault. You just aren't that good.
Yeah, right.
And I wouldn't even say you are that good. The game is just better than you.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's in those cases, it's not even a question of good or not. It's like humans make mistakes. It's human error. You hit the space bar a little too late. That's just go back and try it again.
Sure.
With enough practice, you will get it. It's just like playing an instrument. You might miss a chord a few times, but if you keep doing it enough, you're going to get it without even thinking about it.
Every sports game that I get. So I used to buy the NCAA games. I still am playing NCAA 14 because there's a dedicated community. Sorry,
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, what
I think that's
what are you
the
sorry about?
blowing the smoke
I
everywhere.
just, I do that because I like seeing my breath move in like a
Discipline,
tunnel
yeah.
through the. I'm not doing it because it bothers me. I'm doing it because I like seeing it.
Yeah. Well, allow me to blow more smoke in your face.
Oh, please do.
But like the first thing I do, and it's been the NHL games lately too. You turn down the first thing I do is try and turn it to as much simulation sports as I can.
Right.
So like when I do
Yeah,
NCAA,
keep it simulation, not arcadey.
I usually play NCAA. I haven't played in a while, so when I go back, I'm probably going to play it on Heisman's the hardest difficulty. All American is the second hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
I usually if I haven't played in a while, I'll put it on All American. I'll turn and I'll put simulative stats on there. Like there's dedicated boards to making the game as realistic as possible. How to put your accuracy at the right point. How to put the computer's accuracy at the right point.
Yeah.
There's
like a real community of love around this game.
Same with
still.
the NHL games too. They're the first thing that happens when those games launch is people figure out how to toy with the sliders enough to make it accurate.
Yeah.
And make it feel right.
God, that's what? That's one reason I want an Xbox, and it's maybe the only reason. I want to play NHL again.
Yeah, man, that game's fun.
I fucking love playing NHL. They haven't made a PC game in about 10 years.
And the PC game that was out there, NHL 04,
Yeah.
there's still a community dedicated to that because it's the finest hockey game that was ever,
I mean, it's as a PC gamer, I feel kind of let down that there isn't an NHL game for me. I'm
Really-
kind of shocked.
Really not a lot of sports games.
Yo, I can bring the Xbox One over and we can play this like anytime.
Yeah, but the truth is, I just got to buy an Xbox.
Me too. Yeah, I gotta get an Xbox One X. I want to upgrade.
I just have to do it. I mean, if they made NHL games for PC, this wouldn't even be a thing I thought I wanted.
Right. They did try that old time hockey, but it didn't turn out great.
No, it didn't.
No.
Yeah,
It was
they-
unfinished.
Yeah, it was unfinished.
But back to
Like everything.
yeah, let's get on topic.
back to
here.
Cringe though. So Darkseid, I feel again he's apparently gotten better about this.
Yeah.
One actual like genuine cringe moment where like you really do feel bad for the guy. He actually jacked off on stream one time without realizing the camera was
Oh
yeah.
No.
wait a minute. Let me find video of this.
No.
You don't see anything, but it's very very clear what he's doing.
Do you see like his upper half?
Yeah, just like shoulders up, and it's pretty obvious what he's doing.
No.
And then he's like, and then he handles it like a champ at least. He's like, oh, whoops.
Oh no. No, that just took the wind out of my fucking sails.
And he was playing Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh no. That's so awful.
Yeah, it happens, man. There's he's not the only streamer to have ever done it either.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Nice. Oh, dude.
No. Are you watching it right now?
Oh.
Is he?
God, he's getting into it.
No, really? Oh no.
Wow, poor Darkseid Phil.
Oh God, I hate that
whatever.
so much.
I mean, the government's probably watching me jack off too.
The government watches us all jack off.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah,
that's what they're there for, right?
yeah, they'll watch you jack off.
That's why
they know what porn you're searching for.
That's why we have a government.
Yeah.
I thought we wanted to keep track of who's jacking off to what.
Yeah, you know what? There's no porn that I'm googling that's any weirder than anybody else's.
Yeah.
My porn's pretty normal, I think, by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's say I wonder. Every now and then, like every couple of months or something, I learn about a new thing that's someone's thing.
Yeah.
And that usually makes me cringe as well.
A little bit, yeah. Like again, not to kink shame. As long as it's not as long as they're not bordering on like pedophilia or
Like basically, when people's kink is a thing that's not hurting anybody, I don't give a fuck.
Right,
I might think it's weird.
Yeah.
I might even cringe a bit, but I'm not going to say it shouldn't exist.
people who are into there's the famous kid from TLC who is like in love with his pool toys. Did you ever see that kid?
No.
The kid who's in love with his pool toys, and the only part, like, usually they find somebody who's like a friend of that person or like a close family member to like, be like, yeah, I just don't. It's this weird thing that he always does. The only person that they could find for this kid was his like distant cousin who obviously didn't want to be on the show, who like obviously doesn't know him that well.
Okay.
And like was just there doing it because they couldn't find anybody else to talk about him.
No way.
It's just this kid who's in love with his pool toys, and then his cousin who's like super shy and like, dude, I don't know. Like,
I don't know, man. They invited me over for this afternoon.
Right. Yeah, they told me there was going to be sandwiches. Yeah.
They said they wanted me to hang out with my cousin.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
It's
happening.
just a kid like laying with his
fucking this pool dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up.
fucking his pool toys and like feeding him lunch. It's like it's fucking weird.
Oh wait, so they're like little animal pool toys, or are they like?
Let's see if I can find this kid. It's fucking weird, man. Whatever. I mean, but like, get a job and.
While you're looking this up, a thing that I guess I will explicitly kink shame. I think it's weird that woman that married that carnival ride.
What? That's a thing?
Oh, dude.
Oh, I've heard of this. I think you might have even shown me the video.
H3
of
did a
this.
video on this.
Yeah, that's right. It's H3.
It's a woman who married this carnival ride that like she would seriously go to the carnival thing or whatever and like see this ride every day, and then they like moved it. It went like across the country or something, or maybe across the world, and she lost it for a while, and then it came back. She like dropped a wedding ring in one of its pipes, so she considers herself married to it, and she will lay under it. And I guess masturbate under the thing.
Well, I mean, once you're there, you might as well just go the extra mile.
Wouldn't be the first person to masturbate under a carnival ride.
She'll like reach up and like grab the greasy, oily bits and smell them, and say things to herself like, "I want your fluids,
Mandrake."
your precious bodily fluids."
But I do deny them my essence.
It's like like. This is one of those things where it's like I don't want to shame people, but that's kind of objectively weird, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like,
it's
do I have
weird.
to be a fucking idiot and pretend nothing's weird?
No,
Like,
that's fucking weird.
That's weird.
That would be one of those things. That's one of those things where I want to hear what Corey Suhar has to say.
Oh my god, me too. Me too.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me
Me
too.
too.
That's a little joke that always makes me feel a little bad.
Yeah, whatever. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear it.
And I'm in a relationship with 15 inflatable
A
animals.
little closer to the mic.
Sorry.
Oh, I remember this.
My inflatables are the funnest creatures I have to hang out with in my life. I'll eat with them. Wait, you want my food? You got your own. Watch TV together. Okay, fine. I'll show you like. If I bathe my inflatables, it's good, sure. No, I do take my inflatables out swimming.
Mark's addiction to inflatables began 6 years ago.
There's a little
when he purchased
shark and a
whale
giraffe.
from
Since
then, the 20-year-old college student has added 14 animals to his
Oh, but see, he's
inflatable
20.
family.
He doesn't know any better. And he's happy.
People.
The thing about inflatable pool toys I love is that they're soft, they're cuddly. The bigger they are, the better they are. Kind of means there's more to love.
Yeah, this is a dude that just doesn't know he has a popping finish yet. Like the balloon shit. He just doesn't know yet.
When I first found out about Mark's inflatables,
Here's his cousin.
I thought that's strange or having me be into something
See,
that's not.
I just here for the free sandwiches.
When I first heard about this, I didn't know what to think, and I still don't. Can I get off camera now?
17 years old.
My mother really wasn't there for me when I was a child.
Oh my god.
Come on. But this inflatable dolphin was.
This orca that I spoon every night was there for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so weird.
Dude, stop.
Oh my god.
Just get a hooker. What are you doing?
Find any way to be involved with a human being.
That's a guy who's into big, cuddly women. Which,
Yeah, right.
I mean, who isn't? Let's be honest here.
Am I right?
You know what I'm talking about?
What can a skinny woman do for you?
What is not a goddamn thing? Yes! Doug!
Oh man, Doug on Black Jeopardy, one of my favorite SNL
what is
sketches.
not a goddamn thing?
What is not a goddamn thing? Oh my god. Skinny women can do this for you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There's a fine line there. It's just weird. I don't know.
we may be hitting a little bit of sort of I don't know. We might be hitting kind of the end of the cringe train here. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean,
Get on the good foot.
we could certainly give our continue giving our best examples of cringe. There's so much we can do over audio.
Yeah, that's true.
I want you. Let me tell you this. I want you to tell me if you consider this cringe. So the longest written work in human history.
Okay.
The longest work of fiction in human history currently stands at a fan fiction for Super Smash Brothers.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Wow.
It says here it's ongoing as far as I know. As of July 2013, it is 3.5 million words long.
Oh my God!
In human history?
Here's a more recent one from July of 2017, July of last year. That says this is from the Smash Brothers subreddit. As of right now, the Subspace Emissaries World's Conquest is no longer the world's longest written work.
Shut up. What superseded it then? What other thing is competing with this?
Oh gosh. The fiction that has surpassed it as of right now. Let's see. Ambiance, a Fleet Symphony. This is a fan fiction for something called the Kantai Collection. I don't know what that is.
Wait, are you telling me that the number 1 and number 2 longest written works in history, in human history, are fan fictions for two different things, one of which is a video game?
That's what it seems like.
See, that's not cringy. That just makes me angry. I'm just not happy about that.
Yeah, I'm
As
not
a fan
happy
of
either.
literature.
Starting
happy.
in March of 2008, the last update as this is being written was in October of 2016. The fanfic became famous for how long it was, gaining attention from Kotaku, BuzzFeed, and even Game Informer and the Guinness Book of World Records. It was a testament to how passionate someone can be about something that they liked. The number,
I don't know, man.
it clocked in as of that last update, October 2016, at 4.06 million words.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't know if that's cringy. I think maybe it isn't, but it is depressing as hell.
Yeah, it kind of makes me angry. I don't like that.
Just for me,
For me.
yeah, just kind of like I cannot wrap my head around the fact that nothing is more, voluminous than this ultimately pointless. And maybe it's not pointless. I haven't read it. What can I say? How do I know it's pointless? But it just drives me nuts.
I mean, the game has already been made. Do we need?
Did anyone need the extended universe around Smash Brothers?
Let me continue to quote Red Letter Media here. Is this a story that needed to be told?
Sure.
The answer is no.
Probably not. But then lots of great things don't need to exist.
No.
Yeah.
Avatar didn't need to exist.
No, liquid soap.
We've heard the story before.
Yeah.
Liquid soap.
Yeah.
Liquid snake.
The Doritos Locos Choco didn't need to exist.
No.
But are we glad it does?
We are.
And we'll be even gladder when they
Yeah,
make
but
a
the Doritos-
when they make a sweet spicy chili version.
Can we fucking talk about how?
Can we just?
Guys, you know what I just realized? We're not seeing the forest for the trees here.
Yeah.
We've forgotten about the ultimate cringe, which is, of
What
course,
is it?
sovereign citizens.
Oh my god! Amazing.
I'm a sovereign citizen.
Yeah, I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
Are you addressing the agent, the person, or the individual,
Man.
John Q. Public?
Okay, so for people who don't know what sovereign citizens are, Ben, how would you describe them?
So the best way I've heard it described is that a sovereign citizen believes that they are under no obligation to consent to they're under no obligation to obey the law unless they consent to be governed by that law. So in other words, if they see themselves as individuals or entities separate from what the government sees them as.
Yeah, they're without government, without land, without rule.
Yeah, and the way they differentiate that is that the person you are as the government sees you is the person on your driver's license, your birth certificate, which they see as contracts that you sign with the government that say, I consent to be a citizen and consent to be governed by you. They believe that by divorcing yourself of those contracts, that they know those rules and those laws and the all the trappings of citizenship no longer apply to them.
Yeah, right.
They consider themselves no longer under
that you
contract.
can opt out, essentially.
Right. And they do this by spreading the very untrue belief that by evoking maritime jurisdiction and all this pseudo legal mumbo jumbo, that you can basically signal to the police and the government that I am not a citizen. I am not a government asset or a government entity. Essentially being a human being that in their minds is nationless or stateless.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a very romantic idea.
Sure. Like, who doesn't want to kind of be their own king?
Yeah, and there's that's also, of course, not to say that a stateless person is not a thing. Of course, that's a thing. You've heard stories about people that were out of the country when the former Yugoslavia broke up, and now they don't have a country to go back to.
Yeah, right. They never got absorbed anywhere.
Right, but you're not allowed to just decide that laws don't apply to you.
When you're in a certain country, you have to abide by those countries' laws.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Even if you try to set yourself outside of it,
The
you're
law
still ultimately within the jurisdiction of the place you are.
And see, here's the thing. I've never seen a sovereign citizen try to argue this for anything like, well, why can't I, I'm just living on my own. I'm collecting rainwater in like the middle of the woods. I'm hunting for my own food. Why can't I collect my own rainwater? I've never seen someone argue for that. It's always they're contesting like drunk driving,
right?
Or
it's
something
traffic
like
tickets.
That.
It's like small time, like pickup, like a arrest type thing on the
parking
street.
in a handicapped spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my like if there's a person who does that, the argument becomes a lot stronger if it's somebody who's actually living off the grid, what I mean?
Yeah, if you're
for themselves.
If you're like actually living in a cabin you built for yourself and you're hunting and fishing for your own food and you're collecting rainwater and
you have your own agriculture.
That's something different. But if you're like driving a car and buying liquor and taking advantage of all like the trappings that society has to offer, you gotta obey society's rules. You're not allowed to just like say, no, it doesn't apply to me because maritime jurisdiction and I'm an individual and yada yada.
What about like case in point? There's nothing to stop me from claiming as a non-citizen I can rob a bank.
Sure.
Because I don't have personally any laws against robbing a bank, and I'm not part of your thing. You never hear the really extreme shit that you can do ever argued. You're right. It's always trivial bullshit that people think they can talk their way out of to avoid a ticket.
Right. Yeah, it's always just super trivial. It's always stupid rednecks. They get, they've had like 14 or 15 too many bush lights, and they try to drive home, and then they hear about this sovereign citizen bullshit. And the cringe comes in when you see these people in action on YouTube, and the cops exert their just authority by actually smashing in the person's window.
Oh, it's so awesome.
The cops who actually know the law, right?
It's always just as important to me when that happens.
You remember P. Barnes, right? The dude in the that courthouse in Idaho?
Yes.
The guy tried to force his way past them, and he fucking tases him.
Tased. It's awesome. I mean, that shit for me is like, it's not quite cringe. Like, I think it would be cringe if I cared about them. I think that's a part of a thing that makes things cringy. Usually.
You gotta have empathy for the subject.
Like, usually cringe is born out of a place of empathy, of like, why are you like this? You don't have to be, that kind of thing. With these guys, I'm always like, yes. Yeah. Like, yes. Oh my God, he's got the baton out. Yes.
That's true.
Beat his ass.
Like, I get excited.
And it's because they come from a place of like the
indignant childlike bullshit.
The world should revolve around me.
Yes.
The
insufferable.
I am the law.
The law shouldn't apply to me because I say it shouldn't.
I'm gonna take.
And it's really fun to see those people get sent up.
Oh, for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
it is.
I'm going to take the Charles McGill stance here and say that, like, the law. The law.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law. The law, the written law is maybe the most important thing that human beings have ever come up with.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're right. You're absolutely right.
A set of principles that govern what is acceptable in civilized society.
Yeah.
And deciding for themselves at like different organizational levels.
Right.
It's agreed upon.
Right.
I mean,
and it's important to note too that not every law is a good law.
Sure.
We had prohibition, and that sucked. We had slavery, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But the law as an institution,
The law.
Yeah.
is like crowning human achievement. The law, agriculture, it's up there with like.
Oh yeah, it's up
language.
there. Yeah.
Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's a crowning piece of human achievement.
It's up there with the cheesy gordita crunch.
Right. And whether or not you like a certain law or you're pissed that you are victim to a certain law, you have to accept the fact that it's there for a reason and it's important.
The law should, in an ideal world, accurately reflect the will of the citizens it governs.
Yeah.
I think usually, in most cases,
If it doesn't, then
often does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, the people campaign to get it changed.
Yeah.
Such as, same-sex marriage.
Right.
Perfect example.
Like with that issue in particular, we reached a tipping point of people's opinions were not consistent with the law to such an overwhelming degree that the law changed.
So the law changed. Right.
Usually that's how it works.
I don't think anyone would ever try to overturn the law that says you can't drive while you're drunk.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would ever campaign seriously to overturn a law like that.
And I think most people, even people who generally do that kind of thing, don't really think you just should be able to do it. They just hope they get away with it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So I you're right though. I think empathy with the subject is required for it to be
it's part of cringe.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Now that you say it, no, I don't think I have empathy for sovereign citizens.
No, it's always like, fuck yes, this dude's about to get fucked up.
Yeah.
The cop is gonna break this dude's window. He's gonna be totally justified
He
in doing
so
it.
deserves it for being such a pisshead to a guy trying to just do his job and be a good person. Like, I can't wait to watch this dude get ripped out of his shitty pickup and dropped on the sidewalk. I can't wait. I get hyped for that shit every time. I really do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it sounds like we hit the wall.
Yeah.
No, this is probably a good time
Yeah,
to
it's a
call
good
it.
time.
I think so.
I think whenever you have that moment of silence, let's just stop. Let's take a break here. We'll be back in a minute with our recommendations for this week as well as what we learned.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And welcome back to the Dudecast. Slurp. Oh no, Chris, what are you doing? Oh no, Chris, stop. No, Chris, stop. Oh, you're embarrassing all of us. How cringy.
All right. Hey,
We are back.
wait, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Okay. Wait, are we rolling?
I think, yeah, we're rolling.
Wait, are we rolling?
Hold on. Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
We are rolling. We are back.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Superintendent Chalmers. We are back with our recommendations for this episode. Who would like to go first? I don't mind.
I'll go first.
Don't mind.
I've got two recommendations. One is an album by an artist you if you've heard of him, you know, but if you haven't heard of him, you may have heard his remixes.
If you don't know, now you know.
Nigga.
We were looking at each other like, I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it. You're going to say it. I'm not going to say
I don't
it.
care.
It's Pogo. Pogo started off doing stuff on just purely on YouTube, and now he's got some albums. There are all these neat little remixes and remasters of he takes heavily from like Disney movies and Disney songs. But what I'm recommending is an album called Ascend.
Okay.
Which I think if our plans play out, I want to play you a little bit of one right now from a track on this album, Ascend, called Boy and Bear.
Okay.
Which samples heavily from the animated forms of Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
And it's pretty great. Take a listen here.
All the things you can't tell. No matter what I do, you should know. No matter what I do, no matter what I do, you should know. No matter what I do, every song, wherever you ever, every song, and you will always answer.
All right, that's
I see.
I'm just because we're gonna cut that out.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to make a big note to do that. Actually,
Yeah, when I go, we're gonna put in a little sample of Boy and Bear in there.
Nice. I sure liked listening to that just now.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice little charming. Again, it's like lo-fi. You know, just chopping up a song. I recommended Origin by Vanilla a couple weeks ago, and it's in sort of the same vein.
Incidentally, that album's really good.
Yeah,
Really good.
It's just this idea of
Tremendous.
I don't give a fuck.
you
I
know.
don't fucking care.
I don't give a shit.
America rules.
America's great. Fuck you.
Fuck you. You fucking suck. You're a
Listen to
little,
Vanilla or suck my dick.
you're a little bitch. Nobody cares what you say.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
guys done?
Yeah, I think so.
Roundabout.
So
Sure, we can keep
you know,
going.
it's the same idea of taking one work, chopping it up, and kind of using the ingredient to sort of be the theme in your own creation. Just check it out. Ascend by Pogo. It's pretty nice. It's very relaxing. It's pretty chill. Also of note is a track called "Take Those Pills," which I find infinitely hilarious.
Take those pills.
Take those pills.
Got that meat.
You gotta take them pills. You gotta gut that meat.
So we'll listen to a bit of that, I'm sure. And then my second recommendation, Far Cry 5 has been pretty big. I'm here to recommend the OG Far Cry, the one that, you know, even before Crysis was a thing. The OG Far Cry used to be kind of like, your PC's dick measure and yardstick.
I was gonna say, wasn't that one of the ones where like this is how you know if you have a solid rig is how well you run Far Cry.
It was the first Far Cry, and then it was Crysis for a while.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
But the original Far Cry, let's see, Crysis came out in like 2005, I want to say.
Okay.
So the original Far Cry must have come out in like 2003-ish.
Okay.
I'm going to double check that. But if you've played Far Cry 3 or 4 or 5 or Primal, the OG Far Cry is a very different game. It's on Steam. You can get it on Steam. It supports, full 1080 native resolution. I'm sure it supports higher. I just don't have a 1440 monitor to test it or anything. But it is it's great. Number one, because it's fairly unforgiving in comparison to the more modern titles. Not like they're particularly easy either before you unlock like health upgrades and things like that. But the original Far Cry is fairly notoriously difficult. It's the Far Cry series is known for its use of first-person stealth mechanics. The first Far Cry was still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah. Okay.
But what the CryEngine is known for is seamlessly and procedurally rendering giant landscapes.
I was gonna say it's all about foliage, right?
It's all foliage.
It's funny because Crysis also did that later, right? Like it was they had to compare it against the foliage of Far Cry, right?
Yeah, the Far Cry series thrives on its reliance on exotic locations, and for the first few iterations of that meant tropical, islands. Crysis was very big into Pacific Islands and clear crystal waters and everything. It's a beautiful landscape, and then of course there's a bunch of bad guys that are trying to kill you.
Of course.
So the original Far Cry came out in 2004.
Wow.
So it is a 14-year-old game.
That's actually really fucked up because like I played a lot of games back then, and it went right by me.
Yeah,
I never played Far Cry, and that was when I was really.
What else came out in 04? I'm trying to think here.
Oh, in 2004. Let me think.
2004.
Halo 2.
Halo 2.
Yeah, I was busy playing Halo. That's what happened.
I'm pretty sure Metal Gear Solid 3 came out in 2004.
Snake Eater?
Snake Eater.
No shit.
Snake Eater, I believe, came out in or around 2004. Let me double check that because I remember playing it in high school.
It may well be.
Now, for as fun of a game as it is, it's it's kind of your standard. One of the nice things about the CryEngine is its reliance on rendering large expanses of land means that it's a little less linear than 2004, November of 2004.
Okay,
came out.
so Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out in 2004.
Oh Lord!
So did Half-Life 2,
Half-Life 2,
Doom 3, which actually looks really good.
Doom 3. I play the shit out of that game,
and World of Warcraft.
No shit.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. 2004 was a fine fucking year to get into PC gaming. That's around the time I started getting into PCs. Especially when, because I had played Counter-Strike for a while, and when I learned that Half-Life 2 was going to be a thing, I remember my excitement. Yeah. And I remember my abject fear when, do you remember when someone hacked and released the source code of Counter-Strike Source and the Source engine?
Yeah.
So it delayed Half-Life 2 for a while, but we ended up with one of the greatest first-person shooters ever made.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Far Cry, the original one, came out in 2004, and
that's crazy.
And it had, again, it's the way it rendered vast expanses of terrain meant that
huge tracts of land.
You could, of course, you could play it in a fairly non-linear. It had kind of like linear objectives, and you had to get from point A to point B. But you had a lot of options in how you could go about doing it.
Yeah. Morty.
One of the big reasons I'm recommending it today, though, is because I'm playing through it again, and the dialogue is just atrocious. It's the worst stuff I've ever heard. So the plot of the first Far Cry is you are ex-Navy SEAL Jack Carver.
You are investigative journalist Miles Offshore.
Oh my god!
And you are escorting an investigative journalist
whose name is Miles Upshur.
whose name is Valerie.
Okay.
Valerie, you make me wish I was dead.
You're escorting her to this archipelago of Pacific Islands where weird things are happening, and then you get fired on by the mercenaries that are guarding it. And
But how's she supposed to do journalist stuff?
I know
She's got a video camera, dude.
it's rough. So now you're being hunted by these mercenaries that are guarding some weird
Morty.
guarding some weird science, and so you got to use the jungle to your advantage. The Far Cry formula.
Sure.
You got to use the jungle to your advantage.
They're all messed up on like bad science.
Right.
They're like looking for this briefcase with good science.
Yeah.
Man, we gotta have Corey back on.
Yeah.
So the plot is simple, and the dialogue is just Jack Carver literally sounds like this.
Yeah, sure. Action guy.
So, no joke. Okay. A line I heard yesterday was, "So you want me to blow something up to divert their attention from the other thing I just blew up? Brilliant."
Why does he sound like an asshole Duke Nukem Solid Snake combination?
Because he is. There's no way around it. Jack Carver is before everyone realized that video game protagonists were brown-haired white men with beards.
Yeah, right.
Jack Carver was that brown-haired white man with a beard.
The prototypical.
There's nothing worse than shitty commentary compared to like some of the great commentary in
Who
games.
the hell are you?
Yeah. Oh man. Like take most of the awesome dialogue that I ever heard in games were side conversations, much like what we were talking about earlier this week in Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just guys talking when
Yeah.
they think no one's listening. Like that was always so fucking cool.
Give me one reason I shouldn't kill you right now.
and it's one of the hidden pieces of brilliance, I think, of chaos theory is the fact that it's probably true to real life espionage. People saying shit
Boring
when
shit.
they think no one is listening, and it turns out to be useful to the person overhearing.
Right.
it.
Yeah, it's almost always got to be like boring shit. Like being
Yeah.
a spy is like got to be notoriously boring because
like your garage.
Yeah. Motion tracking lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
garage.
important thing.
yeah, little clues from the game.
In the bank level, you're supposed to try and limit your movement past these motion tracking lights in the front driveway, or else just go around them. You stick to the shadows. And the two guys are talking about it like as soon as you enter the level to clue you in that those are there.
Yeah.
And the one guy's like, "Oh no, you could never afford them for your garage. They're very expensive." And then when you interrogate the guy, he's like an expert suddenly on like, "Oh no, not my garage. They're way too expensive." Really, just it seems like it must happen, right? Like
yeah, that's got to be what being a spy mostly is.
Yeah.
knowing what to pick up on. Absolutely.
Fifth freedom.
Yeah, fifth freedom, Fisher.
Freedom.
Yes, that's one of the things that Chaos Theory and Splinter Cell in general really has historically done really well.
Fucking games, dude.
Remind me to show you. Do you know Sam Fisher comes back up in Wildlands?
No, get out of here.
There's new content for Wildlands. I gotta show you this one thing. It's the most heartbreaking fucking thing you'll see all month.
Oh no.
We're gonna have to watch that later. Huh?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Far Cry.
Far Cry, the original Far Cry OG. Any rig today should be able to handle the original
I
Far
think
Cry.
so.
As long as you have a halfway decent video card,
Yeah.
you can play the OG Far Cry.
Which I do.
It's, you know, in spite of, you know, it can be kind of bullshit sometimes, but, you know, there's frequent checkpoints and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's real pretty. It's really fun. The dialogue will make you crack the hell up.
It's funny because now that we talked about this, all I actually want to do is play Splinter Cell.
Oh, and one of the better things about the OG Far Cry, the sniper rifle has a 16x zoom on it, so it really takes advantage of the vast space that you'll be using.
That's like Halo level zooming.
Yeah, that must have
Yeah.
been like a deliberate design decision. Is like we gotta.
Oh, it totally was.
Yeah.
Once you get the sniper rifle, it should be completely rewarding, and boy, is it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a silencer, so as soon as you fire that thing, everyone's gonna know you're around.
Right.
But that's half the fun. You got to tag the guys and then stalk them in the jungle. That's Far Cry.
It's too much fun. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You
let me
brought it
jump-
up earlier.
I'm sorry, I took way too long on that.
No, you're okay. Well, I was gonna say, so my recommendation for this week is another documentary. I feel like I'm always recommending documentaries, but I really, really like them. I watch
Yeah, I'm
them
trying
a
to
lot.
diversify my bonds here. So doing the same. I'm trying to
Yeah, I should probably mix it up a little bit, but
It usually goes game, documentary, album.
yeah, right,
typically,
like
so-
really regularly.
I'm trying to mix it up.
Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's maybe they need maybe the people listening to this need an assortment, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but I just watched Netflix released a 4-part documentary series called Bobby Kennedy for President.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm with you because he was the Kennedy that I liked the most.
Yeah, he was a Kennedy everyone liked the
Yeah,
most.
right,
It's
right.
like a 4-part documentary.
A 4-part documentary,
Wow.
all about. It starts all the way back, more or less when Bobby Kennedy is JFK's, campaign supervisor,
Yeah.
the head of his campaign. So it follows the two of them in politics, and then it follows the JFK assassination and the period that follows, and Bobby sort of trying to decide, with people talking in his ear all the time about whether or not he's going to run for president.
Yeah.
And then his eventual run, obviously, his assassination.
Sirhan was his
That's right,
assassin,
Sirhan. Yeah, who, by the way, even recently is still appealing to get out of jail.
What an
The dude's
asshole.
still there.
Fuck that guy.
You know,
You don't just kill Bobby Kennedy and get out of jail.
it's interesting. Having watched it, I don't want to say too much, but he's got his own kind of version of things, and it's loosely like I don't remember what happened.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
seems
not.
sketchy. It seems sketchy,
You don't just forget that.
but I don't know. I try to keep my head open because on some level, some aspects of his conviction felt
Unfair.
Yeah, it felt fishy. It felt like his lawyers were like not exercising their options. Some of the evidence seemed like way over the top and maybe fake.
He shot him in broad daylight, didn't he?
The thing is, so many people can't agree on what they saw, who was in the room, who was how close to whom, like all of the detail, like the what do you call it? Oh God,
Hearsay.
no, I'm like when
You're
when-
gesturing to your ear.
Yeah, I know. When a gun goes off and you have the
Muzzle flash.
dust,
Yeah.
Chaos.
so whatever dust and all that comes off of the explosion, like that pattern could suggest that the shooter was right against his head. It could suggest they were like 2 feet away.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird stuff that
I don't know.
yeah, I didn't make up my mind on him, but it was weird. He's fishy either way.
for sure.
Documentary is great. Features a lot of really interesting, intimate conversations. Sort of some stuff I didn't have any idea about, like exactly how much LBJ and Bobby hated each other.
Oh, yeah.
The extent of their hatred.
We actually learned
for each
about
other.
that in history class, oddly enough. I had a pretty good 10th grade history teacher.
Yeah?
Talking about, they did not like each other at all.
No, they
At all.
hated each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby referred to LBJ as a guy who was basically an animal.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, wasn't LBJ the one who would routinely take his penis out to intimidate people in arguments?
Yeah, he's
Kind of an animal.
I'm still not sure what happened there, but I've heard that story before too. I would love to know exactly why and how he took his penis out
Yeah.
in front of people.
Johnson?
But yeah, no.
I like it too.
Yeah, definitely watch Bobby Kennedy for president. In particular, if you're interested in political documentaries or political events, but really, I feel like anyone can gather a lot from this documentary. It follows something I guess I knew existed but hadn't really conceptualized.
yeah,
is like exactly how passionate and idealistic a young generation of Americans was.
Yeah.
About Bobby Kennedy in particular.
Yeah.
And
He was the Bernie Sanders of his time. Really,
Exactly.
I mean, really, like, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it
like-
was just.
I felt a certain kinship to the people that were so disappointed and let down and depressed, to see what happened to him.
Oh, he died. Oh, great.
Oh, good job. No, it's a great documentary. Super recommend it.
Ted's like, oh, I'm here.
Ted comes in with his gigantic jaw.
Yeah. You guys want to vote me?
How about me, though? everyone. Yeah, watch Bobby Kennedy for president. Really good.
I have 3. I'm going to keep them. I'm going to keep them brief. I'm going to touch my briefs on this, Morty.
Touch your briefs, please.
The first one, I said earlier, I've been playing Pokemon Emerald. This is the first time I've played past Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to specifically recommend Pokemon Emerald to you because you've all already played it, I'm sure. People listening, because like, why wouldn't you? It's like, it's 13 years old at this point. Yeah, I know. I never did either. But my base recommendation: go back and do something old that you know everybody else has already done and already likes a lot.
Go back to where you once belonged.
Yeah,
Get
back.
Get back. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
No.
Every time somebody burps, we're gonna go Morty, and then every time someone farts, I'm gonna say wubba lubba dub dub.
Well, that's why I'm recommending Far Cry. Like many years after. Well, like a decade and a half after. It's been a PC dick measuring yardstick.
Yeah.
It's still a fun game.
Sure.
I can't say the same for the first Crisis. The second Crisis, though, is incredible.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, but okay, there's 5 minutes gone in the second period of this Caps Pens game. I know, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Caps were up a goal. Pens just scored one.
Okay, yeah. Woo.
Tied up. Sorry.
Woo.
5 minutes gone?
5 minutes gone, 15
Yeah, we're gonna
left.
have to get back up there pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right.
But like I said, go back and like whether that's a game or an album that you haven't listened to, I would just say something that everybody has told you is really good that you never went back and played. Go back and do that.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to do it for a while with the first Deus Ex.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Deus Ex. Yeah, I have that actually. But yeah, go back, do something that everybody already knows is good and you just haven't experienced.
Yeah.
Second recommendation. It's part of the All or Nothing series. I watched a whole bunch of this. I'm not quite done yet, but I'm gonna get there. There's an All or Nothing series on Amazon right now, which is All or Nothing is like a sports kind of in the vein of 30 for 30, but it's a specific focus on a sports team.
Okay.
And like their struggle over a season.
Okay.
Right? Like how that team evolves.
I dig that.
So right now, it's All or Nothing, the Michigan Wolverines from last year.
Oh.
It's Jim Harbaugh, and all his shitty Jim Harbaugh-ness.
Cronies.
Yeah. So it's them going through their season, which of course eventually ends in a loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes, which I'm not there yet.
The earth reverberating with a mighty cheer.
Yeah. So check that out. It's really cool. It's a good insight into
awesome.
how to coach a football team, what it looks like behind the scenes. You feel the heartbreak of the losses. You kind of see those kids develop and come into their own. It's really cool documentary. Check out.
It's called All or Nothing.
All or Nothing, the Michigan Wolverines.
It's a Prime series.
It's on Amazon Prime right now. I think they bought the All or Nothing series. ESPN used to carry it. They did one on Ohio State a couple years back.
No shit.
They did one on the Dallas Cowboys. They do a lot of different sports. They just pick a team and follow them for a season.
That's awesome.
The final recommendation I want to make to you is the highlight recommendation. The one I really want to talk about is one that HBO did about Andre the Giant. I think it's simply just called Andre the Giant.
I would love to watch that.
It's very good. We can definitely watch it like once this hockey game's over if you want. I mean, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. It's basically just about it touches really briefly on like his early life and how he came into wrestling, and then the kind of person that he was.
I know he got Rise to School from George Bernard Shaw.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
That is odd, isn't it? Now, the kind of person he is, as I understood it, is enormous. Is that accurate?
One would say that he was a hulking man.
The Hulk wouldn't say that.
Yeah, Andre the very large person.
Andre the very big.
There's a famous story about Andre where he's out at dinner with a bunch of celebrities, Arnold Schwarzenegger. among them. And Andre was famous for insisting on paying the bill and not letting anyone else do it. So one night they're out. Andre gets up to use the John, and Arnold goes up and goes to the host and
Goes to pay.
And then Andre picks him up off the ground. Arnold Schwarzenegger picks Arnold up off the ground.
The Terminator.
Puts him back in his chair and then goes, I pay.
Well, wait. Well, Arnold tells that story in this documentary, and he didn't just put him on a chair. What he said, Andre, I invited you. I'm gonna pay. Yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. And he picks Arnold Schwarzenegger up and sets him on a piece of furniture. So he doesn't just put him back in his chair. He lifts him up, and Arnold, they're interviewing Arnold, and he said he picked me up like a little doll. They said, I mean, and he was like incredibly strong. I mean, he was just a hulk of a man. Famous drinker, incredible drinker.
Legendary drinker.
Ric Flair to this day, and I believe it. Ric Flair, because everybody kind of backs up that he was an incredible drinker. Because he was in pain, I think, most of his life.
Yeah, right.
He was in incredible pain. But Ric Flair said they were out one night after a particularly good show, and he said, I counted. He drank 106 beers. 100. He said we'd go out places, and he would drink 24 minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, like they have a shot of him holding a beer glass
it's
or a
amazing.
beer can, and it looks like this.
To me, it looks like those little cans of V8.
Yeah.
That's what beer
he's
can
holding.
looks like in his hand.
I mean, he was just, but like, it's a great documentary because it talks about him as the good person that he was, and like, the way that he thought, the way that he acted, and also the way that people would treat him who didn't know who he was, who just saw this big guy and like, oh my God, talking behind his back.
Right.
It's a very interesting documentary because you get to see guys who are like notorious hardball, hard asses like Hulk Hogan and
guys with really hard balls.
Yeah, right. But people who like don't break. Guys like Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, and moreover Vince McMahon, who is like does not break. Yeah, a guy who you don't see.
No, we've seen that.
Yeah,
I know we're thinking of the same video. Right?
You see him. You see these guys get choked up, especially Vince McMahon, a guy, and he says in the documentary they're talking about Andre and Vince had a lot. Andre had a lot of resentment towards Vince because Andre's career was ending, and they had to phase him out for his health.
Yeah,
and he carried a lot of resentment towards him, and they asked Vince, they're like, do you remember the last time that you talked with Andre? And he said, not specifically. He said, I'm the kind of person who I try and block things out that are very painful to me. So I can't specifically remember. And you're watching this guy who is like a hard ass, like a ruthless kind of businessman.
Yeah.
And you're watching
like
this guy get choked up. And it's just, I don't want to like spoil anything for you, but you should really watch the documentary. It's a good, I really want to. It's a really good examination of the man and the legend behind the man.
And like, as someone who didn't grow up with wrestling, but who did grow up with some good goddamn movies. Yeah. My first exposure to Andre the Giant was The Princess Bride.
Of course, they talk about that.
Everyone knows him for that.
Yeah.
And, if that's your first exposure to Andre the Giant, you can't help but just remember him as just like the kind, gentle person that he was.
It's the best representation of him, actually. It's funny enough, like, Andre the Giant as a wrestler is a character, and so is his character in The Princess Bride, but that is more authentic to the kind of man he seems to be.
I don't even exercise.
Yeah.
I read something recently that said on the set of The Princess Bride once, he let out a 16-second fart.
Yeah. Yes. That's another thing they talk about in these documentaries is his farts.
There's this very pregnant pause and before Rob Reiner finally spoke up, he's like, "Are you okay, Andre?" And he says, "I am now, boss."
Yeah, it's great.
What a dream to
yeah.
fart so legendarily.
They talk. There's a whole section dedicated to his
his
farts.
farts?
I'm not kidding. There's a whole section
we
dedicated.
gotta
to his
watch
farts.
this.
We
We gotta watch this together.
But I will say this as a final note before we get into what we learned.
Yes.
I remember he died in 94, 95. I remember being very little. And I remember when Andre the Giant died, I didn't know who he was at the time.
Yeah.
But one of the traditions in wrestling in particular, 2-1?
2-1 pens.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the traditions in wrestling is that when a wrestler dies, they do a 10-bell salute to him. They bring the locker room out and they have a moment of silence for the crowd and they ring the ring bell 10 times.
Oh,
at
fuck,
a moment.
man.
And there's some if you ever want to see some emotional shit, look at some of the great 10-bell salutes that they have for wrestlers who are gone. Roddy Piper's was great.
Owen Hart.
Jim Ross getting choked up talking about Owen Hart dying I remember when it happened. I just got goosebumps. Eddie Guerrero, when Eddie Guerrero died, you're watching all these guys who loved Eddie. But I remember watching that with my dad when Andre the Giant died. And like having to ask my dad who he was, and the silence and the reverence in the room when they do this 10-bell salute. How everybody, you feel it immediately. He's such an important figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get a chance, find it on HBO. Really good documentary.
One more reason for me to get HBO, man.
Yeah.
I've been considering it for a while.
Yeah. Honestly, it's $15 a month. The content that they have on there
HBO's great, yeah.
is
Great
way
movies. If you're a movie
better
fan,
than Netflix, better than Amazon Prime. The shit that's on HBO doesn't make bad anything.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cancel my Planet Fitness membership.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what? It's honestly, they don't do anything bad. Every flagship series they've ever thrown out there has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
You can watch that. You'll never run out of good things to watch.
I'll never run out of Game of Thrones ever again.
You'll never run out of Game of Thrones ever again.
I tried to do some pirate sites for Westworld, but man, it's not worth it if you don't get it in full HD,
It's
not worth it at all.
Which reminds me, we should start to watch maybe in a couple of weeks season 2 of Westworld.
In a couple of weeks, yes.
Once we have enough that we can binge two a week and be caught up.
We should at least do the first episode of Firefly this coming Sunday.
yeah, we should start. I think Firefly is probably the next logical step.
Are you guys? Have you guys seen Firefly?
No, never.
I've watched a lot of Firefly, but not all of it.
Okay.
Probably a third.
You have never seen Firefly. Oh,
it's good. It's got that
love
Joss Whedon thing of like
Joss Whedon.
Like you really have to kind of have some appreciation of camp.
Yeah.
yeah, and then taking the tropes specific to camp and then just like flipping them on its head mainly for comedic effect. But
All right.
Yes.
Let's wrap this shit up so we can
do
watch
it.
some hockey.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes left of period 2. So what have we learned, boys?
I just wrote anyway.
That's a good one. I wrote Orange Julius. I forget why now.
I wrote that a moment of silence is death.
Yeah.
Deep, right?
I wrote maybe don't argue to disprove your group's violent tendencies after one of you mowed down a bunch of people.
Yep. I wrote, wait, what? I wrote, I'm gonna get you up on a winch and we gonna get her done.
I wrote pool toys are definitely the best.
God. I wrote Neil Breen is the opposite of Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street.
That's true.
Shit, man.
I wrote, the government knows what you jack off to.
That's true. They do.
Definitely know.
I wrote that all the real men are dead.
They sure
They
are.
definitely are. I wrote where Cosby, zip zop, zoobity bop, gross sexual misconduct.
I wrote that the world's longest written work probably features at least one extended soliloquy on the virtues of courage delivered by Donkey Kong, and that's depressing.
He's the leader of the pack. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail.
So
I
depressing.
wrote, the nation of Netbeardia is a proud one with many waifus and shimmering lakes of Mountain Dew.
I wonder what their flag is.
Whatever it is, it's definitely woven out of discarded pubic hair.
It's a trilby tipped this way, and underneath just says "Milady."
It's a
impact
It's
text.
a lolly image.
It's the same flag as Brazil's, except instead of Ordem e Progresso, it just says, will Milady honor me with a date?
Yeah. It's about ethics in video game journalism.
Yes, the proud nation of Netbeardia. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's it for me, man.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We will be. Oh, good.
No, we'll be. I'm going to be on next week. I'm going to come up with a joke.
That's right. You're the host next week.
You gotta get some jokes.
You gotta get some jokes. You got jokes. You got jokes. You got jokes.
Jokes for days.
I got jokes.
Jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes and
We will see you next week.
We will.
With more Dudecast.
Hopefully.
Thanks for listening.
It might just be an hour of static. We don't know.
It might be.
Yes.
Just fart noises.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.